Welcome into DC On Screen, bringing you the news and reviews related to the DC Comics multiverse on film and television since 2015. I am your host, David C. Robertson, and the man who is not often sitting right next to me, staring deep into my eyes as I do this speech, Jason Goss.
Hi.
Why are you staring so deeply into my eyes?
There's something in your teeth.
Then why aren't you staring into my teeth?
It just looks like your eyes.
Is there something actually in my teeth?
There's not.
Okay. We just had burritos. So it's too bad nothing happened this week.
I know. It's going to be a rough episode to get through.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, James Gunn and Peter Safran announced their giant DC slate. And what we're going to be doing for this episode is I'm going to be going between his official announcement video and the press event that happened like the day before, that he and Safran were actually there, because they gave a lot of information that wasn't in that 5.5, 6 minute video. Yeah. Are you ready, Jason? You look like you're dying.
Not even the slightest, but let's do it.
It's not that Jason's not excited. He's just tired.
Oh, very. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
me too.
Daughter was up with an earache last night. Yeah, I'm tired. But this is also...
And I put together all this prep.
Yeah. There are times in life where it's the right thing to power through.
Uh-huh.
It's one of those times.
Cool. So James, in the video, said that one of their jobs, his and Peter Safran's, is to make sure the DCU is connected across film, television, animation, and gaming, that the characters are consistent and played by the same actors, and tell one story. We knew all that pretty much. Mm-hmm. He did put an emphasis on being played by the same actor.
Yeah.
Across live action and animation.
He left a gap for where possible. As far as the animation transition happens, yeah, maybe that voice just sounds real similar.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
He did say usually.
Yeah. I mean,
sometimes things just don't work out.
Yeah, it's not always that easy to do. It's also, it's going to be unique to actually see an emphasis on that, to see characters go from animation and then see them in live action or vice versa. Mm-hmm. Just because that's actually kind of rare.
It is. They did it. They did a lot with Marvel. Like, they would have the Avengers animated show, and Phil Coulson's the same. Mm-hmm. They have a lot of the minor characters, but yeah, you're not going to get Chris Evans on one of those.
No. No. But that's how Marvel treated the TV movie crossover anyway. It was like, all right, you lot, you're responsible for that. You lot, though.
Yeah.
The big boy table.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about that.
And we will talk about it later, but Gunn did talk about how, or Safran and Gunn both talked about this, about how for the first time ever, they're over all of it. And it's just like one studio. I am excited and very intrigued to see what happens with this. But he reiterated that anything outside of the DCU canon, like Matt Reeves' The Batman, Todd Phillips' Joker, Teen Titans Go, etc., will be clearly labeled DC's Elseworlds.
Clearly this time, instead of what was hinted at years ago.
Mm-hmm. Which I love. Everybody's like, it's going to be Black Label. It's going to be Black Label. No, Elseworlds.
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 That was a print long before Black Label. Also, the couple high priority names he mentioned were not, none of them exist in Black Label.
Yeah.
That's a non-starter for me.
Yeah, I love that Gunn knows enough about comics to be like, no, sweetie, that would be Elseworlds.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Says they got lucky with the...
Also, you realize how many rumors he's shutting down, out of the gate. Something Gunn is really good at. I don't know if it's him and Safran and they're planning these or what, but whatever team is involved, something they're very good at is shutting down the rumors quickly.
Yes.
Preemptively in this case, of course. But I appreciate that.
He says they got lucky with the next few projects coming. Shazam 3 of the Gods Shazam, he says, has always been in his own little corner of the DCU, so he connects well with where they're going. Mm-hmm. He says that leads directly into The Flash, a film he really loves. And he says he confirms it will reset the entire DC universe.
Yeah.
We suspected if you were going to do it, this would be the one to do it until you got to a Crisis on Infinite Earths, and then you'd do it again.
Yeah. And probably use another Flash.
Yeah.
Or kill one. You have to sacrifice a Flash.
Yeah.
Every time you do some Crisis.
It made me laugh, though, because he said, that leads into Blue Beetle. Cool kid. You know, he just didn't have much to say at all about it. He was like, marvelous character. And then, like, the video actually just cuts. And he goes, that leads into Aquaman 2, which leads into what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So he didn't really have a lot to say, necessarily, about Blue Beetle and Aquaman 2. But he did say that Chapter 1 of their
they're
new
included,
slate,
and they were definitely coming out next year.
they are included. They're definitely coming out next year. There is some more news on that a little bit, specifically on Aquaman. But he said, so Chapter 1 is called Gods and Monsters. And
Good name.
yes, and during the event, he did say that this is half of it. What he has just announced is half of Chapter 1. And we know that they have 2 chapters planned.
I was unclear about that. Is the 2 chapters part of the 10, or is the Chapter 1 the 10?
This is
timing-wise, it felt like the latter, from how I just put it.
They are talking about doing roughly 2 TV series and 2 movies a year.
Which could fit.
So they're talking about doing the entire 8 to 10 year plan, I think, is the 2 chapters.
That would track for time. I mean, as much as this mixed it up between animation, live, and movie, especially new movie, because like next year movie is going to be way more packed than going forward.
Well, yeah, 2024 is going to be relatively dead.
Yeah. I meant this year, sorry.
But 2025.
I'm still thinking about 23 being next year.
Yeah, this year's
this year, slate's full, and then
Yeah.
we got a second while everything's in production.
Yeah. Which we might apparently get a couple of TV shows in 24.
Yeah. Which would do to hold everything over, hopefully. But, okay. Yeah, that part I was wondering, having watched the video, is like, is this, really roughly the 5 or the 10 or where the chapter things land? It's going to be, it's going to be a little like phase 1, phase 2, 3, and 4 with Avengers 2. Like, yeah, phase 1's going to end here. And then 2 years after it's supposed to end, well, actually, it turned out to be here.
Right.
Like,
that happens with everybody.
What about phase 3? Man. Actually, we cut that short. Sorry.
But seeing as how they've already announced like the new Superman movie and the Batman 2 is coming out in 2025, like, shit. I'm there. 2025 is going to be lit.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's also going to be part of why I'm not so much worried about, like, well, what are we going to do? Twiddling my thumbs kind of thing. There's a whole Elseworlds thing that it doesn't sound like he's going to be responsible for, care about necessarily as much as like.
He says that he's over all of it. He's just letting Matt Reeves do his thing.
Well, I know, but that's not going to have to be part of the plan. Like the Elseworlds can exist,
right?
So they'll be able to come out in the meantime and keep us all, fucking occupied. Like. Which is going to be funny as long as we waited for the first fucking The Batman for that to be the thing that we're like, oh, thank God you're here.
Well, I mean, it's going to be October of 2025 before you get The Batman 2.
I know.
So, I mean, it's still kind of a lot.
And based on how long I felt like I looked for that movie, it's going to be like February 2027. But they're gonna rush the shit out of that movie though. So
I hope not. I hope they're just letting him do his thing. And
well, I don't mean in that sense. I just mean,
but we should have the Penguin before that comes out.
Let me put it this way. They're going to resource the shit out of that movie.
Yeah. That might be a better way to put it.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
but yeah, we have Penguin.
Yeah, if the Penguin is shooting this summer, I mean, we should have that relatively soon.
Roughly a 9 to 15 month area after. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
After they.
I don't know about y'all, but I got enough shows to watch. I actually, it might not be the case for everyone in the listening audience, but I personally enjoy the Marvel shit. So, I'll also be watching all of that. And then I've got Shrinking on Apple TV and Mythic Quest
try that.
And Mere Mortals. And, I
went back and
Quantum
finished
Leap.
F is for Family recently.
Yeah.
That'll be good.
All the
I'm
Star
going to
Trek
finish
stuff.
Barry and Silicon Valley while we're on HBO.
I have plenty of things to keep me occupied.
I keep forgetting. How much? Because It's almost sad.
You're like, let me go watch that one scene from Zack Snyder's Justice League again. No, damn it.
That's only when my daughter wants me to watch it. At this point, I could draw it for you. I could storyboard that damn thing.
I know. It's okay, though.
It's fine. It delights the hell out of me that she, for some reason, likes the most violent fucking part of that movie. Like, just turned 4 a few months ago, but like, no, Daddy, can we watch Batman and Superman and Wonder Man and Aquaman and Cyborg? And like, sure, yeah, we'll watch him beat the shit out of somebody and behead someone.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Maka.
Yeah. And then gets to the end like, can we watch it again? Sure. Okay.
So, James goes on and he announces the first thing, which is Creature Commandos. And I will do this in the order that he gave it in the video because I feel like that's probably going to be the order that it comes out.
I feel like it was borderline chronological as far as what he was thinking.
Yeah. Creature Commandos, which is a TV show, is animated. It is 7 episodes. James Gunn has written all of them. He explains they'll be having characters move from animation to live action with usually the same actor. And as we've talked about, Creature Commandos is a DC Comics property. It was created by Jeff Lemire and Ibram Robertson. It involves Nina Mazursky as a scientist for SHADE whose life and marriage fell apart after losing her young daughter to a terminal illness. This is from the comics, by the way. I don't know about what he's doing. She created the Creature Commandos and at first ended up squaring off against the Atom. That first generation of creatures were unstable and had to be imprisoned in a microscopic prison called the Zoo. But Nina created a second generation of Creature Commandos, which turned out to be the heroes she fights alongside now. Including herself in the experiment, she was transformed into the amphibious genius in a special suit. There's Frankenstein and his wife, who are brutal and effective enforcers of the Creature Commandos. We have G.I. Robot, who was made by the U.S. military to fight for the Allies during World War II. We have Weasel, of course. Sean Gunn is probably going to be that character again.
We have to assume.
Dr. Phosphorus, who was created by Steve Englehart. He's a radioactive supervillain whose main enemy is Batman. A nuclear accident transformed his body chemistry to phosphorus so that his skin became a grotesque and agonizing eternal flame.
I forget where I saw him recently in the books. He was a tragic character, and it was a futurist story, and I forget where.
So, yeah, they first appeared in the 1980s in Weird War Tales, number 93. And they've been around from time to time. So,
looking at that picture, the only two people I recognized were Weasel and Frankenstein.
Yeah. No, I recognized a few of them. I knew Dr. Phosphorus, and I knew both Frankenstein.
Well, once you pointed out Phosphorus, I knew about that. I knew about Frankenstein's wife, but that was only vague, because I feel like the stories I've actually read with Frankenstein, it didn't mention his wife too much, except in, like, mentioning her. Mm-hmm. Because I know I read it, at some point I read At Future's End, and didn't finish it, but he was involved deeply.
Gotcha.
Some space team. It was a crazy thing. It's a weird property to pick up on, but it also is kind of like so much of Gunn's wheelhouse that if all this wasn't involved and you just told me he was going to make this film, I'd be like, well, that's going to be delightful. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be down for that, at least.
Yeah. Safran said, in terms of animation, sometimes it's a fun way to introduce characters or introduce stories that would frankly be too expensive to be done in live action. Gunn estimated the live action version of the series with the current story would cost the studio between $35 million to $40 million an episode.
That feels right.
Multiplying those numbers across 7 episodes would make it about $245 to $280 million. Nah, you're not going to pay that for Creature Commandos.
No. No, you can't sell that as a 9-hour movie. Sorry.
The next...
Sorry, Lev.
The next thing he announced was Waller, a live-action TV series starring Viola Davis. She'll be teaming up with members of Team Peacemaker. He describes it as a fantastic out-of-this-world story by Crystal Henry of Watchmen and Jeremy Carver of Doom Patrol.
Yeah, I damn near had a hard-on when he mentioned all those names.
Yeah, those two showrunners are phenomenal.
And the fact that they're going to be with a character as diverse as Waller?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck me.
Mm-hmm. And apparently it's going to be going in between Peacemaker Season 1 and Peacemaker Season 2 because he don't have time to do Peacemaker Season 2 right now.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, there was a quote in there somewhere where they were like, hey, do you think like, if you guys actually make it to, like, the end of the 10 years, like, do you think you'll want to keep going? And Safran was like, absolutely. And Gunn was like, I'm tired now. It's been 2 months.
I haven't slept in weeks.
He's writing Superman. He wrote this he's, like, working on Waller. He wrote Creature Commandos.
Mm-hmm.
He's working on several things. He did, like, the outline for something. I can't remember what it was now.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's somewhere in my notes here.
He's busy. But, even then, you remember the end of Peacemaker. Like, he's got to let that rest a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Waller does seem to be the next logical step. Is to
but, like, the entire fucking Justice League was either in silhouette or in person for the end of that thing. Like, they got to distance that a little bit in Peacemaker.
Nah.
At least till after Flash, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, probably.
Like, until we know definitive answers about that.
Well,
which I assume is going to be in the Flash.
They can never bring up the Justice League again. What's funny is...
he could. He literally walked away and said assholes or something like that and just bounced on them.
The 2 Justice League members they showed in Peacemaker look like they might be the only 2 who are sticking around anyway.
That has occurred to me. But the silhouettes are there for the rest. We knew who they were.
Yeah. He brings up Superman Legacy, which is a film that he's writing. He has described it as the true beginning of the DC universe. And the picture they chose was All-Star Superman. And he did say that while the film is not All-Star Superman, it is very much inspired by All-Star Superman.
That'll work.
Which I am absolutely fine with. I love All-Star Superman. I love that version of the character. Gunn said, Superman, I really love the idea of Superman. He is a big old galoot. And this is what he was saying when asked about casting the role. He said, he is a farm boy from Kansas who is very idealistic. His greatest weakness is that he'll never kill anybody, doesn't want to hurt a living soul, and I like that sort of innate goodness about Superman as his defining characteristic. It's not All-Star Superman, but again, I am a huge fan of All-Star Superman, and it is very inspired by it.
So we're getting Parasite. That's what you're saying.
Safran, I hope not. I actually don't like Safran. Parasite very much.
I'm not a huge fan, only because it falls into a trope that I don't love, where it's just like, what if we depowered him? Like, that can be fun, but I feel like a lot of the stuff we watch leans on that. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I believe just for budget reasons, if we're being honest. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't.
Well, Parasite is either like kind of a semi-tragic loser asshole or just a monster.
Yeah.
And I don't care for that either.
My favorite version might be in Supergirl Girls or whatever, where he's just like a janitor just trying to do his goddamn job.
He was just a janitor in Batman the Animated Series. He was just like a janitor working for LexCorp, wasn't he?
That's true. I never caught that part. It's a fine reference. I hadn't thought about that in a long time. But yeah, like, I don't know, there are other things to do with All-Star Superman, especially everything with Luthor. So, like, I do feel like, come on, what do you bet? We get a Luthor casting at some point. That film's not coming out for a fucking minute. So we got time.
Well, they said 2025.
I think it was July 11th, 2025.
Yeah, July 11th, 2025. They better be getting to casting.
They are, but they've got a few months at least before they lock anything down.
Yeah. So Safran said these first 2 series are kind of an amuse-bouche for what is coming up with Superman Legacy. So James is currently writing it. We certainly hope and are hoping that he will direct it. It is not an origin story. It focuses on Superman balancing his Kryptonian heritage with his human upbringing. Superman represents truth, justice, and the American way. Seen a lot of people bitch about that online. He has kindness in a world that thinks of kindness as old-fashioned.
When that phrase was contrived by 2 poor Jewish kids, it meant more something like that.
Yeah.
Like that. When you hear truth, justice, and the American way, it does not mean what you think it does right now. Mm-hmm. Like, not in 2023.
Yeah.
In the 30s, very different situation.
This article said Gunn, who has proved his ability to develop lesser-known characters into beloved stars through his rosters in Guardians of the Galaxy and the Suicide Squad, is focusing heavily on one of the best-known characters for a change. And talking about Superman. And Gunn says, I only have 7 days in the week, all of which are used in the service of DC storytelling. I am working all the time, and I can only do what I can do. We're going to have to make a decision at some point. I've worked a lot on the outline for The Authority. No, that was the other thing. Mm-hmm. The Authority myself, with what best serves DC, what best serves the fans. Is it me really focusing on Superman and making sure we have a great opening? Or is it me giving a little bit to that, a little bit to this, a little bit to that, a little bit to this? And it's not an easy answer. And I'm figuring it out as I go along. It's the number one unknown thing about this. I don't have all the answers. I'm just trying to learn as best as I can how we keep the quality up, because that's what matters.
I'm going to translate for him. This means a lot to me too. I don't know exactly how this job works either. Fuck off, I'm trying. I'm really trying. From everything I can see, though, he actually is trying.
And in referencing Superman specifically, and his role in the universe, he says, I think our stories in general are, we want to take it away from good guy versus bad guy. There's really, really almost saintly people. Superman is among them. There's really terrible villains like Gorilla Grodd or Joker. And then there's everybody in between. And so there's all these shades of gray of these different types of characters, which allows us to tell more complex storytelling.
Couldn't agree more there.
Yeah.
Fantastic interpretation there.
He brings up Lanterns, which is a live TV show. He says it's a story of Hal and John, Hal Jordan and John Stewart in a true detective type terrestrial-based space cop story. And they discover a terrifying ancient mystery that ties into the larger story of the DCU. How are you feeling about that?
Oh, I dig it.
It does sound like they have just reimagined that stuff.
The original stuff from
that Berlanti was doing
15 years ago?
No, from the Green Lantern Corps show that they've been talking about forever.
Yeah, since before we were born.
That one.
Like, this is being transmitted from Oa, from whatever light years away.
Yeah.
I get it. But
I have like an old 1989 Batman magazine over there, and there's like a little blurb in there about that series.
A little advertisement about the series. Yeah. It's going to be on HBO Max. I don't know how they knew that.
Yeah, it was like right next to a Jack Nicholson picture. Yeah, they're like, also, Jack Nicholson is the Joker.
The
subtitle was like Greg Berlanti, a vampire.
Yes, it does sound like they've just kept the basic idea that, and this happens a lot in like all these reworks, is there's a basic idea of we're going to use these two characters, we're going to do this and this and this and this, and it gets bantied about for forever. Mm-hmm. And honestly, that's how the Green Lantern film that came out wasn't as good as it could have been. But yeah, like this is, it's the same old story. It's the one thing I laughed at when he brought up, and I was like, oh, okay, all right. You promise? Right. Like, the rest of this, you're taking some shots, and it's news and new, and I don't know, I'm distracted. Yeah. But this one, bitch, I've been hurt before.
Yeah. Oh, no, for everything for me. This is DC, so I'm like, I'll believe it when I'm watching the end credits.
Yeah.
And then sometimes not even that, in the case of Joss Whedon's Justice League.
There have been a lot of moments in the history of DC right now in the last, 10 years, where if you saw something and they said, next episode, you'd be like, power off.
Yeah.
I'll see. I'll check in.
Yeah. Gunn talked about that. Did you hear about that?
Which part? Oh, we already said it's been fucked up?
Yeah.
I saw that pull quote.
Yeah. We'll get to it.
This shit done been fucked, y'all. I'm sorry.
He brought up The Authority, which is another film. He says it's a passion project for him. It will be proper DC universe. The characters will interact with the DC characters. And he describes them as a super team that feels the world is broken and vows to fix it by any means necessary. Like, they're killing heads of state and shit. Mm-hmm.
Earth 3, I think it is, and Injustice or whatever.
Well, no, I mean, they're in the proper DC universe.
Oh, no. But, same vibe as far as,
Oh, yeah, a little bit. Well, the crime syndicate are just evil.
They are, but just...
You're talking about, the Justice Lords. From
probably more as far as even the crime syndicate, it's
Superman just lobotomizing Luthor with his heat vision.
Well, or Superman lobotomizing somebody in Injustice. But yeah, I think their vibe is really more that I'll burn it all down for power. But even if you just want power, you have to make things run well.
Yeah. I mean,
or you don't get to keep the power.
Well, the Justice Lords, they did run, everything ran perfectly, but everyone was afraid.
Well, sure.
And you had great Kevin Conroy versus Conroy, you know.
That's how fascism works. You just make everyone very afraid, give them a very simple job. Tell them if you stray, I'll just kill you and don't worry about it.
Yeah. So the Authority was a superhero team that came out of, it was a spinoff, kind of a comic book series called Stormwatch. These were Wildstorm Comics, which was a label that Jim Lee had started. And DC wound up buying it. But when Warren Ellis took over the series around Volume 2, he transformed it significantly. He basically killed off all of the characters that he didn't create or want to use. And
very Authority-like.
Created and created the Authority. You know, Jenny Sparks, Jack Hawksmoor, Apollo, his husband Midnighter. So yeah, the Authority, I remember like it was a critically acclaimed book.
Yeah.
And they started bringing them over into the DC universe proper, and they had miniseries and stuff. And I remember reading it and going like, this is dark.
Well, the only two I have any real familiarity with, and it's because of the Future State comics, are probably Midnighter and Apollo.
Mm-hmm.
And I love those two. Like, Midnighter's
he's basically
concept is a lot of fucking fun. Like, basically can't win a fight because the computer in his head already knows what all is going to happen. Like some analog to Batman, because it's not he's not just so smart. It's just that the calculations have already been made, and he's just playing his part, kind of thing. I forget what Apollo does. It pretty much the Ray, as far as I remember, but. Like I said, I
just remember him having a halo.
I think that was involved. I don't remember. It was like one of those little serials kind of at the end of the Future State comics, if I remember, where I actually like ran across reading Midnighter for the first time. Because now he's way outside my purview of comics. But it was a...
I'm reminded of that band Corky and the Juice Pigs. When they're like bringing... Because they like to do the thing where they have a song that they wrote. And they're always funny songs. But like...
I hope so.
They get to a point where they're like repeating the hook over and over again, but as different 80s pop stars, essentially. Mm-hmm. And one of them is Van Morrison, and he just always goes, Jesus Christ is evidently involved in this as well.
As one does.
Like everyone just sings the hook, and until Van Morrison comes out, and he's just singing about Jesus and the angels, and...
Yeah. I could see a few. You go into David Byrne, you start yelping. You go into... This is part of the song. Like, kind of thing.
Yeah. Like, those would be like the Proclaimers.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
Do the Cure version. I'm too sad to sing this song. Like...
So yeah, he also announced Paradise Lost, which is a live-action TV series.
Will confuse some book readers, but...
Yeah, he described it like Game of Thrones with Westeros, but on Themyscira, aka Paradise Island, and the Amazons. Safran likens the themes and complexity of it to Game of Thrones. It's an origin story, a way of how did the society of women come about? What does it mean? What are their politics like? What are their rules? Who's in charge? What are all the games that they play with each other to get to the top?
Gotcha.
I have to say this is the most bored I've been by the entire slate.
I agree. But
I don't watch Game of Thrones.
I hated it. Very sorry, HBO, but
I couldn't
it didn't
get past
win me.
The incest. I don't care how many capes you put on it.
HBO, stop. Don't stop sending me checks just because we said that. I know we're supposed to be shills. Apparently.
I was like, we're getting checks? I wasn't queuing into the joke. Wait, you're getting checks, Jason? Are you serious?
Yeah, did you not see the caddy?
No.
That's why I parked down the street.
Oh.
We like...
Ian McKinley.
Yeah. I bought you dinner. How do you think I afforded the Taco Bell?
It was a Crunch Wrap Supreme, not Cadillac.
I have $7.
It's not Cadillac money.
I have $7 more than I used to have. That's what you need to know. But no, like that was honestly the least interested I was probably in the entire slate. And has a lot to do with that reference because it didn't hit for me at all.
Yeah.
And no, I'm not trying to be one of those fucking obstinate pieces of shit that just like, oh, I don't care because of Spot. I watched several episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the highlights when people brought it up. It just wasn't for me. But it's also because a little bit of the fantasy genre just doesn't hit for me at all. Me either. Like, it's not my thing. Like Lord of the Rings even. I enjoyed the movies as far as that goes. I'll never watch them again probably.
Rings of Power is boring as shit.
It's not my thing. So, in the context of the mascara, maybe. But like...
That might be the one saving grace, but...
I don't know, though. And I don't necessarily love like a spy thriller set in that particular format. Although it does make you wonder, because he did mention Game of Thrones, and it is going to be live action on HBO, if there's going to be a lot of sex.
I don't know. I mean, I assume there's going to be some implied...
I think it's going to be some implied, at least.
Lady on lady action.
I think it has to be.
You would think.
Just because he used the Game of Thrones reference, and that was so important to the plot, apparently. And I had people describe this to me over and over again while they were telling me why I should watch the show. And I'm like, all right, so just so I have this straight, all I have to do is kill that dude and fuck that person, and I'm a prince now. Cool. I mean, I would have done it too. I get it. I get it.
Yeah. I don't know. They're like, Paradise Lost. It's like Game of Thrones without Jason Momoa raping people.
Yeah. Also that.
Or maybe with. I don't know what he's doing in this universe anymore.
We don't know where he's going to land.
We don't know where he's going to land. That's the one way to say it. That's terrible.
But yeah, like I'm of course interested because I love the Wonder Woman mythology way more than I love anything else they reference to it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that reference didn't excite me.
It made me wonder, like, because Gunn made a point of bringing up that he liked Wonder Woman Historia, you know, the comic.
Yeah.
So I mean that does seem painfully on point.
Yeah, I mean there's way more to love about the Themyscira history than there is anything that I ran across in Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. Like, I would never watch that prequel.
Yeah, me either.
Seriously, no offense, but just not for me.
He brings up The Brave and the Bold. That's a new TV... Oh, sorry, not TV. That's a new film that's coming out. It introduces the DC Universe's version of Batman. But he says it's really a story of Damian Wayne, who was Batman's actual son, who we didn't know existed for the first 8 to 10 years of his life. He was raised as a little murderer and assassin. He's a little son of a bitch. He's my favorite Robin. This was like during the press release. This was not the video. He says it's based on Grant Morrison's comic book run, which is one of my favorite Batman runs, and we are putting that all together right now. And Safran says this is obviously a feature film and it's going to feature other members of the extended Bat family, just because we feel like they've been left out of the Batman stories in the theater for far too long. Hell yeah, can I get a Nightwing?
No, I get it, and yes.
Can I get a Tim Drake? Can I get a Jason Todd? Mm-hmm. Can I get Babs Gordon? For God's sake.
I would like the whole family as well.
Give me Steph Brown. Like, Cassandra Cain.
Here. Well, spoiler. Whatever fucking. Like, it's hard. It's a little hard to conceptualize, like, hearing Brave and the Bold. Yeah. Because, like, come on, man. I mean, I'm watching that with my daughter right now. Mm-hmm. She likes that. The other day, impromptu of nothing. 2 months, I think, it feels like, after I showed her the episode just for fun, I heard her doing like do 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 do. Mm-hmm. Like, I was sleepy and turned my head. That can't be. And then after, like, she did it again about 5 minutes later. Music Master. How did you even remember that? Like, I showed you that one time 2 months ago. And yeah, we like watched the episode and again, and she was singing along. It was great. We had a great time. I'm watching all that, and it's a joyous thing. Brave and the Bold is just such a like happy fucking product, you know? Yeah. And then to hear Brave and the Bold, also it's with that little cunt Damien.
Well, what was funny to me that they...
I like Damien for his own reasons, but we all know he's a little bit of a bastard.
Yeah, and I think it's funny that he's calling it the Brave and the Bold because that was always a Batman team up with other heroes, not Robin.
Other colors, like...
I'm not bitching. I'm not complaining about this. I think it's interesting, and I love that they're basing something on Grant Morrison's comic book run, even though I believe that comic book run was more... I thought that was Dick Grayson as Batman.
With that one, I thought so too, but it's also like Batman Incorporated and all kinds of other crap.
Yeah, but so, I'm very curious.
I feel like their concept, though, it's going to be Batman is the brave and Damien's the bold here.
Maybe.
If we're guessing.
I don't know.
And that being said, don't get me wrong, I like Damien. I really like Damien a lot. And
I do.
In several interpretations, he's a ton of fun. Especially a lot of the Super Son shit when he's out with John.
Yeah.
Oh, delightful.
It's just funny because there's so many right now that, I could be like, oh yeah, Damien's one of my favorite Robins.
He could be.
Oh man, Dick Grayson's one of my favorite Robins.
He very much could be. You just have to remember that early on, he got killed for a reason.
Damien?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot he died.
They shot his ass in the head.
I thought he got stabbed.
I'm pretty sure they shot him in the head.
Dick got shot in the head, and then he became Rick Grayson.
That was a different thing. That's where he lost his memory. I think Damien just got shot straight.
I thought he got run through with a sword.
Was it?
That's what I remembered, but I don't know. I remember things sometimes the way I want to remember them. But
it could be those. Like, it wasn't like we voted him off the fucking island like Jason Todd.
Right. But, which I hated him as Robin, but I love him as Red Hood.
Yeah, he's great as Red Hood.
And I prefer Dick Grayson as Nightwing rather than Robin.
Yeah, very much so. Now,
Tim Drake, I just love all around.
Yeah, Tim Drake's just... How do you not like Tim Drake?
He's my Robin.
Yeah. Nightwing, we have to admit, though, like, whoever you cast, if we're going to do this, this is live.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to have a banging ass. We all know that. If anyone, Gail Simone has made it a point to point it out over and over again.
Uh-huh.
It's like I think the qualifying factor to cast the new Dick Grayson in this movie is just to have him walking in the room backwards.
Mm-hmm.
And like 2 steps in, no, you ain't it. Walk forward.
I wonder, and we'll talk about it in a little bit, but he said a bunch of the people who are in his brain trust, Gunn did, and I wonder if Gail Simone is angry that she's not in there.
Oh, she might be.
She might be, and they just haven't announced it yet.
I mean, they talk a lot on Twitter. She might be.
She might legitimately be.
Might be in the set of people that he like sends an email to every once in a while and asks for a question.
Well, he's got like several writers who are like building out this universe.
And she's written a ton of the Bat family.
She has written a ton of the Bat family. But he's got a ton of writers that he's working with, but he may have only mentioned the ones who are specifically working on this half.
Yeah, and attached.
Because he doesn't want, the latter half of the first chapter will spoil the outcomes of some of the first half.
Sure.
So if Gail Simone is working on a damn Birds of Prey or something, or, whatever, a Batgirl, her damn self.
Well, and even in speculation, if you're Gail at some point asking, or answering a friend's email is one thing, and then after a minute you're like, bitch, you're getting paid for this right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to want send me a check too.
Yeah. But yeah, out of all the people, I was very shocked that Tom Taylor or Gail Simone were not on that list. So I wouldn't be surprised if those two were in the brain trust secretly at this point.
Not at all.
Anyway.
One of the persons I thought was secret has become not so secret.
Well, who was that?
Tom King.
Oh yeah, Tom King. Yeah. I was just wondering who you were thinking, because there were several people. But yeah, Tom King, absolutely. I'm so over the moon excited about that. Yes. Anyway, I
mean, I know we're going to get to it. I love what he's talking about, but I love what could happen.
I'm like, can we get New Gods back, please? Can we do New Gods again?
I don't want New Gods as much as I just want Mr. fucking Miracle.
Yeah.
I just want, now that we're in this environment, and I've never thought to hope for it before. But at this point, I'm just like, man, just make New Gods a movie.
And we know that James Gunn likes Adam Strange. And I'm like, where's Strange Adventures, man? Like, he wasn't on the list, but I need it.
I get it.
I need it.
He's having to pare down and focus on shit.
I know. But I'm like, my God.
That would be my worry. That's what would keep me up at night if I was James Gunn, is thinking about, but I could also have this guy and this guy and this guy. I could do this
and
this.
You doing Creature Commandos, but not Strange Adventure? Okay. Make it good.
I mean, even that, like... Sorry. Confined environment versus, like, building out the entire hierarchy of the DC. Like, that's very different.
Mm-hmm.
I can see it being a problem.
Yeah.
You're biting off a lot, and you better chew it.
He did clarify about Brave and the Bold that their version of Batman will not be Pattinson or Ben Affleck. This is the introduction of the DCU's Batman. It is not Pattinson. It is not Ben Affleck. We are working with Robert on Batman 2 and dealing with that with Matt Reeves, and we're working with Ben Affleck, who really wants to be ... has been a part of our architectural team trying to bring things together. Very interesting wording.
Mm-hmm.
And he really wants to be, wants to direct one of our projects, and we're excited for him doing that. But this is the story of Damian Wayne, who is Batman's actual son, who we didn't know existed for the first 8 to 10 years of his life. When asked if Affleck will be involved with the Brave and the Bold movie, Safran and Gunn said no. No. We're just talking to Ben in general about stuff. And Gunn says, yeah, we and Ben have not decided together exactly. We're talking about 2 different projects right now. So I love that Ben Affleck is still involved, but he's not,
I mean, it feels like, based on all that, he's involved in the way he wished he was involved to begin with.
Maybe.
Like, Ben Affleck, I feel like for a long time has enjoyed doing the frontman thing,
mm-hmm.
but has kind of wanted to go behind the camera for a while.
Mm-hmm.
That's just... seems like where he's been leaning. It's definitely where he's been earning the awards and has deserved them. Like, he's good there.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, I wouldn't mind if all they were talking about was like a Flashpoint Paradox movie after. Like, even if you did it after The Flash.
Yeah.
And before, or even during, after, whatever. If you just did Flashpoint Paradox, like, point in time movie.
Mm-hmm.
Where all you did was that. And then you even got to actually bring in, what's his name? James Dean Morgan?
Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Yeah.
And do the whole thing like you wanted to. That would be my dream. If I were just picking what I wanted this news to reflect, not the actual real world.
Yeah.
Let's be aware. I'm just wishing here. But like if I were going to wish for a thing, it would be that's, and I could see Ben Affleck thinking that was such a tragic, poignant, wonderful scene at the end that he would be into making it happen.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like that would be something that would be outside. It is external to possible realities.
Mm-hmm.
You could do it.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have to tie into anything.
Right.
Just...
importantly, Safran and Gunn have been very clear about the Elseworlds possibilities here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll talk about some stuff a little later, but then they clarified even further. I mean, it is as plain as anyone could see. Anything could happen.
Mm-hmm.
And Gunn even quotes Spock, man. He goes, there are always possibilities. Okay.
We're bringing in other franchises now to...
Yeah.
Okay.
He brings up Booster Gold, TV series. Story of a superhero with imposter syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
Loser from the future who comes back in time and uses his knowledge of things to become a superhero. And he says, we're talking to an actor about this right now, and I think it's going to happen. The whole internet's saying Chris Pratt. What are you thinking?
I saw another one on the way here. Like at a red light on the way to your house, I saw another one.
What's that?
I forget his name. I don't know his name.
Thanks, Jason.
Did you watch Top Gun 2?
No.
Something, maybe Paul Allen?
Paul Allen.
I'm going to have to bring out a phone.
I think that's the name of a character who gets murdered in American Psycho.
Top Gun Maverick. I know it's technically Top Gun 2, but I'm sure it's just Top Gun Maverick in many people's hearts. Top cast. Blah, 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 blah. Miles, Val, so-and-so, John Hamm. You weren't even top. You weren't there. Glenn Powell.
Glenn Powell.
Yeah, this guy. Hold on.
Let me see him. Show me this Glenn Powell so that I may judge appropriately.
All right. In your head, shave his facial hair.
No.
No for you?
I beg no. I don't know how he is as an actor. He looks like a little weasel. I just can't do it. I mean, I'll watch it if they do it, but...
He is definitely not a little weasel.
That picture did not do him justice.
I agree. He should consult his media team about what's on IMDb there. Hold on.
He was making a weird face. He looked like he was trying to close
I'm just going to go the whole way and say Glenn Powell.
It looked like he was trying to pinch his nose closed without using his fingers.
A little bit. That was probably after a little bit of Coke or something.
Yeah. We're just trying to keep it real.
There you go.
Real. I don't see anything.
Damn it, man.
Oh, okay. Well, that's better.
And then that.
That's better. I mean, he looks a little like...
No, that's the point. It's like in Maverick, he was this cocky son of a bitch that... Yeah, like he did that role really well.
He looks like a beefy version of Larry Linville from MASH.
All I know that happened
got a bit of
from
a
the headline
face.
was, I'm pretty sure, of a what?
Ferret face. That's what they called Frank on MASH. Larry Linville's character.
It's a square as hell jawline. I'm not sure
I know.
what you mean here.
Look at his actual nose, mouth, and eyes. Like he has no lips. If you imagine, like I said, a beefier version. Like if you took away his chin and really did Larry Linville, like no chin, no jawline, he's just a little bit of a ferret.
I can see it. But I mean, in drawing, that's what you do mostly for guys, is just take away the lips. Like if you're just doing a caricature. But
I don't. I like drawing my men with luscious
thick,
lips.
full lips.
Yeah. No, like Tom Welling on Smallville, you know?
I didn't hear the audio. I just saw that he was mentioned in Entertainment Tonight as saying he was really interested in the role.
Uh-huh.
And I, just looking at him and knowing how arrogant he was in that fucking Maverick movie, I was like, that actually could track. I could deal with that.
I don't know. Looking at him, I would almost be like, no, you're not Booster. You're Superman. Because he does. I like Golden Age Superman, who was a prick. He was he was like a bit of a goody two-shoes, but he was also just like the guy who would be like, ha-ha, just thump you on the head and knock you out.
He very much, yeah.
Do-do-do, do-do-do, like humming his own theme song back to the Daily Planet.
I did nothing wrong.
Like, you son of a bitch. He's like, I don't have a mother. I was raised in an orphanage. I'm the Golden Age Superman.
It's not my problem.
I leap tall buildings in a single bound.
I'm humble. I don't even fly yet.
I'm so humble, I pronounce it humble.
Yeah. I don't even pronounce it orphanage.
Orphanage.
That sounds like a cheese. Shut up. I'll kill you.
Remember when Oliver Twist used to say, please, sir, more? I never had to ask.
Yeah.
I just looked at him and said, remember the thump? You want to be out for another 3 weeks?
And they said, yes, sir. Would you like another?
Give me that ladle.
Gently. Gently, lest I break it.
I'm a young lad. I cannot control my strength, sir.
Also, you have liver cancer. Just while we're talking.
I saw it.
I didn't want to drop this on you. And I saw it several weeks ago, but I didn't want to burden you. But you should really get that checked.
Let me point out that when I saw it, it was... You could have lived, but now it's stage 4.
It looks... I was a bit shy because you wouldn't feed me very much. I didn't feel open at the time, but now that we're really talking...
If you're wondering why we're using this voice,
I don't know.
It's because it's just in my head, it's just like, this looks like a job for Superman.
Yeah.
It's like that almost,
the fake JFK voice kind of thing?
Yeah, well JFK. This looks like a job for Superman.
Yeah, came up with the fake accent kind of thing. There was that era of American accents where they're no one actually talked like that.
Yeah, you're talking about the patter.
Yeah, that 50s radio thing where no one actually said and here he is coming around the end. Yeah, I don't know who. No one said that.
Yeah.
Hey, good mate, give me a whiskey on double.
Everyone talked like a newspaper boy. Yes. Everyone talked like a newsie.
Yeah,
extra, extra. Read all about it.
I think they all saw it in the movies, thought it was cool, and we just had a generation of what are we doing here?
Mm-hmm.
It was the first stupid TikTok thing. Just it took longer.
Yeah,
and we had no context. That might have been the problem. We had no context.
Let me ask you this: do you hear people when you're out at a store or something, and someone drives up into their driveway or into the parking lot, and they're playing a song that is on every damn TikTok? Do you just think idiot? Are you that mainstream? Are you that much of a simp that you're just like riding around listening to the TikTok hits? Like,
I say no.
I get mad. Like, I'm just.
But
like,
I have two reasons. One, practical. I've never watched anything that was on TikTok of my own volition, except like occasional things people send to me. Like, it's not a platform I'm on. So I don't know. That's ignorance. That's fine. But honestly, like, second thing is like, I've just over and over again, I've heard, hell, we talked about this at work today. I was talking to a couple people about like, you hear this song on TikTok and it fucking slaps. And then you go find the actual song and it fucking sucks. Like, they'll be like, they find the 10 seconds of that song that absolutely bangs. And,
they do.
And yeah, like, I get that. Like, I totally get that part.
Yeah, they do. But anyway. So I hope it's not Chris Pratt. Well, part of me hopes it is Chris Pratt. I like Chris Pratt enough as an actor, and he's fun and charismatic. And also, I know it would piss people off in a way that would make me happy.
I mean, all of that I get entirely. And I like him as an actor. I think he's got the right like look as far as he does look like he can do arrogant pretty well. And he definitely does several times in the shit I've seen him in. But like, he doesn't look arrogant enough for me. Yeah. I kind of want him to turn it up a couple of notches. I'm not saying he couldn't do it.
Yeah, he could.
I'd love to see him try for sure. And I think he could pull it off.
But I also think he's just too close to Star-Lord. Like,
I mean, well, given that they're going to shut that franchise down a little bit over there, but only a little bit, it's always going to be around. Like, unless they literally kill him off, and then even then, it's, you know, it's comics. Who knows?
Not because
I could go either way. I'm 50-50 on it.
Not because I'm in love with the Arrowverse or anything, but I really just want it to be Donald Faison.
Yeah. 100%.
I love Donald Faison. I don't think he got enough of a shot at the character. He loves DC.
I only know a couple things about that. I know he did it. I know he loved doing it because I've heard him talk about it. You've said good things. And I thought that based on what I know about him from watching him, I think he probably did a great job.
Yeah.
I would love to see that version.
It was fun for like the episode we had him.
Yeah. I haven't seen it yet. I'm looking forward to that. It's one of the main reasons that I'm looking forward to actually finishing the CW stuff. I
mean, pretty much the entirety of Legends is delightful. Like,
I know.
All the stuff that you've got left. Anyway.
I know. And it's hilarious that that's a sentence you're saying to me after the years we've had together.
I know. Like, I'm like, you've got them running around the damn 40s with like a...
It feels like for 2 years I was like, no, please just watch the next episode. It has points. And then they got to some point slightly after the fucking stuffed doll.
Did you get to any of the...
What was the goddamn name of that stuffed doll?
Oh, Bebo or something.
Yeah. Slightly after that where we both went, nope. The show has just rebooted itself. We're good. I know the parameters. I'm on the same track.
Did you ever get to the point where, like, did you get to the part in Legends where Constantine was just there?
Yeah. Now, the last thing I saw in Legends, literally, the last scene I saw in Legends was Sarah Lance being lifted up and no one knowing because she was, like...
Oh, that's funny.
In traction, quiet.
That's funny.
That is the last thing I've seen in that show.
Like, when she was abducted by aliens?
Yep.
You've got a lot of interesting stuff coming.
I'm sure.
I mean, they literally have a thing where they just, like, run around with a key and, like, whatever lock they put it in, they open the door and they just walk into Constantine's house of mystery.
That's pretty cool.
That's just kind of where they all live and hang out. Like, it's... But, like, at a certain point, they're just running around, like, I don't know, what was it, 20s, 30s, something like that, maybe 40s. I can't remember. But they've got, like, a robot, J. Edgar Hoover, while he was, like, the head of the CIA after them. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just batshit, balls to the wall, nuts, insanity. Like, just, what are we even doing here? How are we living?
That's kind of what I started to like about it for a long time after a certain point.
But it's like madness with a heart.
Yeah. Or as they put it at one point, there's like 1 million people invested in this, but they're real loyal.
Yeah.
Less than 1 million, whatever this is.
And, where we find Booster is like at a fixed point in time. Like he's actually literally guarding a thing that cannot change, cannot be altered. Mm-hmm. But they kind of figure out that like he doesn't really need to be there. They just kind of gave him a nothing job and like he's kind of giving them guff and being like, nah, man, this is a fixed point in time and I've got to do my job and this is my thing. And they're like, yeah, but if you do this and this and this, it'll just be a paradox and this will happen. And so you don't really need to be here. And he's like, he realizes they're right. And he goes, those dicks. He's really good at being Booster. I really enjoyed him.
I wouldn't mind. I mean, just on spec, not having seen that version, I wouldn't mind another version.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
I'd happily cast him.
So the next thing that he mentioned is Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, which we've already kind of brought up as a film. And he said Supergirl was raised on a chunk of Krypton who watched everyone around her perish in a horrible way. So she's a much more jaded character than Superman in this version. This is based on the Tom King graphic novel. I wish and I hope, I'm praying that they are able to transfer those gorgeous visuals, the artwork in that book. I don't even know how you say the woman's name. Bilquis Evely, maybe. She is fantastic.
I think you got enough.
She did the Sandman.
Letters in there.
She did the Sandman that's on my phone. That's on my phone background. Yeah. Like, she is just amazing.
I know the style for sure.
And I really hope that they can find a way to transfer that basic feeling into film. Yeah. Sort of like how
it's one of those, you'd have to feed it in a little bit. If you did that the whole time, it would go over about as well as like the Magical Mystery Tour film did from the Beatles. Like,
but sort
like,
of,
they'll study you 30 years later in film school, but right now, oh, fuck off.
Yeah. Like, I wanted to be successful, but I wanted to look like that book as well. Sort of like, I didn't say what you will about it, but like Thor Ragnarok did a really good job of like transferring elements of Jack Kirby's style
100%,
into live action. I really love that aesthetic.
Which is really just letting the frame continue, because he was already like, he was the original master of action. And
but I mean, like, all the actual architectural design, they did a really good job with as well. They even found a way to put the Kirby Crackle into like elements of space and stuff. It looked like the Kirby Crackle, but in live action, I never thought that would be possible. But here we are. Anyway, so I'm really excited about Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Did not see that coming. Really excited that it's happening. I think I'm less excited about Swamp Thing. It's a film. He says a very dark horror story that delves into the origin of Swamp Thing. Tonally outside of the DCU. I've seen a lot of outlets saying it as totally outside of the DCU. He said tonally. Mm-hmm. Tonally outside of the DCU. Still feeds into the overall story.
If they said totally, that's just bad reporting, and please trust your sources better.
Yeah, or your ears.
Yeah.
And James wrapped up his video by saying one of the things that's very important to him is the director's vision, the vision of the writers, and all of the creators is unique and something special. Storytelling is always king. That's all that matters to us. And I want to be true to those stories, and I want to be true to you guys and give you something different than you've ever seen before. And already we've had reports that James Mangold has teased that he's in talks to do Swamp Thing. He's like posting pictures of Swamp Thing and shit. And now we've got like reports that he's in talks. And this is the guy that did Logan and the Wolverine and Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, whatever that is. Indiana Jones movie. You know, I don't watch those things, but I do actually, but I don't care. I'm like, yep, another Indiana Jones movie.
Dial of Destiny is like the one coming out.
Yeah, the Dial of Destiny is the one coming out.
I think technically I've seen all the Indiana Jones movies.
Yeah, I have to.
That doesn't mean that like the Crystal Skull wasn't one of the worst things I've ever watched.
I thought it was better than Temple of Doom.
Yeah. I'd have to compare 12-year-old me to like 23-year-old me to even give it a shot.
That's the problem. I didn't watch any of them until I was about 24.
Yeah. That'll be an issue.
I just didn't grow up with it. I didn't grow up with Indiana Jones. So I kind of watched them all and just went, okay. I know some people are going to be like, screw you.
It wasn't like a huge part of my childhood. You just saw it on TV when you were growing up.
Here's the thing. If you love Temple of Doom, I know there are a lot of people out there who think Temple of Doom is the best. And
is that the one that like,
the dude that pulls the heart out? Yeah. As much as I preach subjectivity, you are objectively wrong. It is not the best one. But hey, my wife, who loves me dearly, that is her favorite. Temple of Doom is her favorite. Mm-hmm. My favorite is the one with Connery. Whatever that one's called. Last Crusade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That'll work. I don't remember the difference at
all. I mean, Indiana Jones sleeps with the Nazi lady. Then and then like his dad's giving him information. He's like, how'd you find that out? He's like, she talks in her sleep. Y'all both did it with the same girl. The same Nazi. What is happening? Not to mention like the best scene out of any Indiana Jones movie. When he like throws the dude out of the Zeppelin.
The ticket.
Yeah.
The ticket scene.
He throws the dude out of the Zeppelin. All these shocked people on the Zeppelin. He's like, didn't have a ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh God, it's so good.
Well, and more iconic than that even really is the just pulling a gun on the guy with a sword.
That's the first one though.
I know. I'm just saying if we're talking about iconic scenes.
Yeah.
Just, oh, that's cute. All right. On to the next problem.
That was fun. Do you know why he did that? Why that even happened? Because Harrison Ford had like strep throat and just didn't feel like doing the scene. And then they just liked
That's
it.
fucking great. God damn it, that's good.
He was like, we're not doing this. Pop. So yeah, I'd be down for James Mangold doing Swamp Thing, man. I like everything he's done. Actually, I'm more interested in the new Indiana Jones just because he's doing it. Like,
well, if anything, the last thing I saw that I recognize of what you said is Logan, and it was fucking goddamn amazing.
You knew the Wolverine.
Oh yeah, but not as good as
Identity
Logan.
with Amanda Peet and John Cusack.
Don't know that one. I know it existed. Never saw
John
it.
C. McGinley's in it.
That always helps. But like, I like that list of movies and all. There's a part of me. Is that a part of you that the moment he said like Swamp Thing, you're like, oh no, because of the series we actually got.
Yeah, I didn't like that show very much.
I did not. I mean, it had bright points. Don't get me wrong.
It had its moments.
I could probably spend an hour talking about the bright points if I was given.
You know what?
Cause to
that show. A lot of people loved that show.
There was a lot to love.
Sincerely,
don't get me wrong there, but like
all of the boring, almost completely black scenes that you couldn't see any light in.
Yeah.
Were all worth it for all. We had a good 6 months of going, Little Susie and a Turtle Soup.
The Turtle Soup is
we had a lot of
thing.
fun with that guy.
Yeah. And that was good.
With the bad guy from The Postman.
All the weird things that I remember thinking that like one of my big problems with the show was that every time they went underwater it was crystal clear. I'm like, you're in a fucking swamp.
Yeah.
They call it a swamp for a reason. It's a metaphor.
Yeah.
They literally use it as a metaphor for murky water.
Mm-hmm.
And I can just see you 7 feet away with your eyes dilated. What the absolute fuck?
Oh, yeah, it was better lit underwater than it ever was above
water.
Yeah, like it's like it's pitch black, and we can see like the silhouette, or we can not even the silhouette. We can see like a little bit of the light, like shining on leaves.
Yeah,
and that's it.
That's it.
And then you're like, oh wait, oh god, something moved a little bit, and you're like, oh, Swamp Thing was there the entire time.
Nope, not mention him for another episode. Don't worry about it.
It's like it's so dark, you don't even let me see Crystal Reed, and that's like half the appeal of the show.
But there was a part of me the entire time I was watching it that like.
I wish they would have had her hair be white like it was in the comics, not for accuracy, just because so light could reflect off of something.
Yeah, just to have the show look like something. No, I mean, for all the shit I give it, like, it also reminded me of how much, like, oh God, I could dig that boat life as far as that goes. Like,
yeah,
you literally ruck up to an actual like house, dock your boat, go upstairs, have your life. Like, I grew up around lakes. Well, not, just like on a weekend basis for a lot of it. But like, I grew up around a lot of lakes and oh my God, I love boats. Like that aquatic life of like, oh, I'm going to go to the restaurant. So I'm just going to scoot over here. I know it's 2 miles away, but I got to plan 35 minutes ahead so I can scoot over there.
See, I grew up in a very similar situation, except it was right next to a big ditch that had like mosquitoes and snakes.
All right. So right in between.
Yeah.
Is where... I mean, bearing in mind the lake in Alabama I grew up in at this point is just, I don't think I would let my child swim in it.
No.
I just don't think I would.
I mean, mine was like a literal concrete ditch with a bunch of mosquitoes and snakes, and occasionally a drug dealer walking and skipping through yards.
Yeah. Mething up the snakes.
Yeah. We always wonder what kept killing those snakes.
Yeah, because that dude saw a blue light and just went flip and tossed it in there. And suddenly that snake got real aggressive for a second there.
Anyway, so I think we're going to hit a break. We're at an hour. And when we come back, we'll be talking about James Gunn's referencing of DC's troubled past and how it would be different and so much more. Like, there's so much.
Mm-hmm.
We got to stop joking around and get down to the brass tacks here.
All right, we'll drill down as...
Noses to the grindstone.
No, that's the wrong metaphor. Drill down, spent too much time on one topic. That's the
thing we don't need to do.
Yeah,
that we've done a lot of.
Last time I heard that reference was that. No, we'll not. We'll skim across.
Like a stone.
Skipping stones.
Like a stone skipping across
an all too clear lake or swamp.
An all too clear swamp, yeah. It was supposed to be Crystal Reed, not a crystal swamp.
Like we're throwing the skipping stones. Why does that have underlighting? I'm confused.
Abby, watch out. There's a stone skipping. Stop submerging.
Who ran wires under that? Oh my god, that alligator's gorgeous.
Stop submerging, Crystal.
Why is that alligator's posing, I think. No, he's posing. He's taking a selfie.
That's Kim Kardashian. That's not even an alligator.
Yeah. Visiting, got a little bit drunk, fell in for a second. All is well.
You can tell by the champagne glass on its ass.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
All right.
The alligators are very friendly. They helped her out.
Mm-hmm. We'll be right back.
Are you struggling to conceive? You have options, and at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group, we'll make sure you have the guidance and support you need. PREG is known for individualized fertility care that's unique to every patient. We take the time to provide a reassuring and empowering experience because we believe that you deserve nothing less. Let us help you on your journey to parenthood. Visit us at pregonline.com to learn more. Get the guidance and support you need at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group.
Introducing Carvana Value Tracker, where you can track your car's value over time and learn what's driving it. It might make you excited.
Whoa, didn't know my car was valued this high.
It might make you nervous.
Uh-oh, market's flooded. My car's value just dipped 2.3%.
It might make you optimistic.
Our low mileage is paying off. Our value's up.
And it might make you realistic.
Car prices haven't gone up in a couple weeks. Maybe it's time to sell.
But it will definitely make you an expert on your car's value. Carvana Value Tracker. Visit Carvana.com to start tracking your car's value today.
All right, we are back. We're going to talk about, well, more of this. More of everything James Gunn has been doing and talking about with this press conference he held with Peter Safran.
Break in movies. We don't want to break between the movie and TV, but dear Lord.
Well, I mean, I think sometime relatively soon our format is going to wind up changing anyway, because the way he talks about it, he is phasing out the differences between the movies and the TVs to such an extent that it is all the same thing.
True.
So it'll just be like, here's the next thing. Like, we'll do it in order based on what is coming out next.
Well, I'll propose, what if we just break it into what we're excited about and have a pee break in between as we need? And, you know.
Well, I don't want to make it to where, like, the listeners are going, I'll listen to the first part because that's what they're excited about. But once they go take a piss, I know that they're going to be bummed out.
Yeah. Now we should fool them. That's what we should do. We're going to take the pee break up front and work backwards. The least exciting news first.
So there's been a kerfuffle about this online. A lot of people mad. A lot of people are like, hurrah. It's been divisive, but I enjoyed it. Gunn was talking about, he was acknowledging DC's past mistakes and comparing DC with what he's going to do with what Marvel did. And Gunn says, we all know it's been fucked up. It's been a fucked up road for many of the DC characters for the past few years, and things haven't been together. The history has been shit. It's been a real fucked up journey for DC. I think that there was basically no one minding the mint, and they were giving out IP to any creatives that smiled at whoever was in charge. There was never any real power given to the people in charge. And so somebody could always go over their head and do whatever they wanted, and we had the DCEU, which then became the Joss Whedon Justice League, but it also became the Snyderverse, which became this. And we have Wonder Woman, then we have Wonder Woman 2, which doesn't even match what happened in Wonder Woman 1. Amen. And then we have the Arrowverse, and even us coming in with Suicide Squad and Peacemaker. And what is it exactly? And then all of a sudden, Batmite's a real guy. So how can we take these things together and make them make sense and have them unified and have it one real universe, one real world? He says, posing the question for himself, he says, how will this time be different from the promises made to fans in the past? He says, the biggest difference is I've done it before. So I started Guardians with a story of what that trilogy was, where it started and where it ended. And it's in that. That story is just the smaller version of doing this. I've been inside a company that did it very well. It's very different than us. Marvel didn't have everything completely worked out ahead of time, but they did a lot of things really well, one of which is not giving up. And I really love that about Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige and Lou D'Esposito and the whole gang, that I've seen them turn bad movies into okay movies into good movies, and good movies into great movies. And it's because they do not fucking stop. They give it whatever it needs to make it as good as it can possibly be until the 11th hour. And they'll be editing the day before it premieres. A lot. Too much. And that's something that I've also felt like that, and I've said it on the show, like, they didn't give up. Incredible Hulk did not do well. Mm-hmm. Not as well as, if they had been Warner Brothers, they would have been like, scrap it. Let's change it.
Let's start over right now.
Yeah, start over.
We've got 12 hours.
Let's call a trailer company and have them re-edit it. Mm-hmm. Gunn and Safran are committed to... The article says Gunn and Safran are committed to selling their confidence in a fully fleshed out plan, one which they are deciding on before ever rolling a camera on a title officially in their newly relaunched franchise. Quote, I've been around making studio movies now for over 20 years, and the thing that I've seen the biggest change between the past and today is that and the reason why I think movies in general are not as good as they used to be is because too many movies get set into a date and then they're made no matter what. And then you have movies where they don't have a third act and they're already shooting, hoping that somehow they're going to work it out, even though they didn't get it worked out through 3 years of script. So we want to really elevate writers again, make writers as important as they are, and become architects of this story. You gotta love that.
He's, even in the video, he's leaning very much into the storytelling as King Mangold here.
Yep. Absolutely.
I love that that's going to make some people comfortable, like you and I, and some people who don't like his storytelling fucking furious. Mm-hmm. But, it is what it is there. I'm sorry if you don't like him, but that's where we're leaning.
Yeah. They talked about DC Studios and how that's different. It's a standalone studio and production entity, Safran explained, and it's unprecedented because it is the first time ever that all film, all television, live action, animation, gaming is all centralized under one creative vision. So that was a big deal for Zaslav, was the idea of creating a standalone entity where a creative vision, there could be a unified creative vision, and everything centralized under James and myself. This would mean that producers like Charles Roven, who was attached to the titles prior to the DC Universe relaunch, like Man of Steel and the Suicide Squad, won't be participating in future projects. Gunn said, one of the things I really liked about when I went to Marvel was that there were not outside producers. What I've always found is problematic on films and hurts the quality of films is the triangulation that happens between studio producer and director. And that people start creating little waves going behind each other's backs. And everyone just becomes more messed up in this vying for power. But when you have two strong forces, a producer and a director, which is what will be with the directors working with, I found that it's more clear-cut and it makes things easier. For the most part, we're going to be working as in-house producers ourselves and then having the directors do their thing. I'm digging all that.
Yeah, I like it.
I'm digging
He's not
that.
wrong, and yeah, we've seen projects go that way.
He also said at the press release that a lot of people think it's going to be Marvel 2.0, and definitely I learned a lot of stuff at Marvel. I think that we have a lot of differences. I think that one of the reasons why I love DC is that it really is another universe. It's an alternate world. With Marvel, generally, it's New York, Chicago, San Francisco. At DCU, we have Metropolis, Gotham, Themyscira, and Atlantis, and all of that is another fictional universe, and this is the world that we're creating. Then he said overall, the overall DCU is much more planned out than its MCU counterpart, with one singular story being told across the entire chapter. While the MCU was largely started at the dawn of a superhero age, the DC universe is in the midst of it when the viewers will first tune in. We're coming into a world where superheroes exist and have existed for some time in one form or another, and that's the universe. We are telling a big, huge central story that is like Marvel Studios, except for I think that we're a lot more planned out than Marvel did from the beginning, because we've gotten a group of writers together to work that story out completely. But we're also creating a universe that is like Star Wars, where there's different times and different places, different things, or like Game of Thrones, where characters are a little bit more morally complex.
Just feels like mapping out more. Well, you've seen big comic events where they map out multiple timeline versions of events. It's kind of that.
Yeah. He says we have a lot to prove. It's going to be up to us to show the audience what our universe is, how this is connected, to clearly demarcate what is the DCU and what is Elseworlds, and to move like that going forward. It's going to take a while. It's going to take a bit of explanation. But we're very confident that by the time Superman Legacy comes out, people will understand what the DCU is, said Peter Safran. That was his part there. He just feels like the hype man. You know how like a rapper will say a thing and then the hype man just repeats it like 15 times?
Yeah.
That's what Safran sounds like to me.
But you know what? I mean, truthfully, that's how that relationship should work.
Yeah. Gunn said it's really important to me to make the continuity accessible. I just dealt with it with Guardians as being, I want people to understand the story no matter who walks in. If somebody turns on the first episode of Booster Gold, even if it's connected to something else, I want them to understand what's going on. I want somebody who, if Superman's in the Authority, and they go and they watch the Authority, I want them to be able to understand what's going on in the Authority without seeing Superman. What's important for me is to make these movies work in and of themselves and by themselves and not have them be completely dependent. Now, there's always going to be small confusions on things when you tell a big story like this. That's unavoidable. And for the most part, it's really important to me that each individual project is understood by somebody going to see it so that it's good enough that they'll go, oh, I got to go VOD Superman or watch it on HBO Max or whatever. So who are the architects? Do you know who the architects are other than Tom King?
I saw some of the names, and
You saw some of the names.
a few of them are deeply exciting.
Yeah, Tom King, which we've already mentioned. Drew Goddard,
Also good.
who did Daredevil on Netflix, and Cabin in the Woods, and so many other things. Christina Hodson, who wrote Birds of Prey, who wrote The Flash, who actually also wrote Batgirl, the movie. Crystal Henry from Watchmen, Jeremy Slater are working. Jeremy Slater did Moon Knight for Marvel, which was the most damn Batman thing ever.
That was solid. That was solid as all
It
balls.
was. I loved Moon Knight, absolutely. So I am excited that those people are involved. Honestly, you know, I was hoping for Tom Taylor. I was hoping for Gail Simone. I was hoping for Misha Green because I really do want that Journey Smollett Black Canary.
I mean, on the kings of DC writing, I wouldn't mind Scott Snyder being involved at some point.
Oh God!
Holy shit!
Yes.
His influence might be in this work. Just in
definitely.
certain ways. Like,
Definitely. I mean, well, they're basically basing a Batman movie on Grant Morrison shit.
yeah. But, yeah, I wouldn't mind a lot of these names, especially the Watchmen thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, holy shit, that was so good, man. That like so many mysteries, so much to unravel.
I really do need to watch it. I know it's good. I know.
It left more on the table when it was gone than you had before, and yet you were more excited.
That sounds like Damon Lindelof was involved.
Yeah. But in a way that I didn't blame him for the disappointment. It was more like, oh, I appreciate where you left this.
Yeah. That's how it felt when
I know that's a fine point that like it would take me hours to defend myself for that idea.
I mean, no, look. I mean, I felt that way eventually after Lost, which he did. Mm-hmm. I felt that way immediately after The Leftovers, which he did. Mm-hmm. Fantastic 3 years of weird.
I think my wife saw that one. I didn't.
I did not watch Prometheus because I don't care about Alien.
Wasn't my thing.
Oh, yeah. So, we got the future of Gal Gadot here, and Gunn said we've talked to Gal. She's up for doing stuff. We're not sure what we're going to do with that. All I can tell you really right now is just Henry and Ben are not a part of this universe. Also important to say that Henry was not fired. Henry was just not hired to be Superman in the new Superman movie. There was never a deal there for another movie, and that's not what it was. So he wasn't fired. He just wasn't hired or rehired.
I mean, sadly, it tracks. Even when they announced it, no one said he was actually like hired and contracted.
Yeah. It was implied that there was not like an actual contract in place.
No.
That it was a handshake deal at best.
Goddamn October. Was it October or November or a combination? But still, goddamn.
It was a dark-tober, man.
It was a time.
It was a dark-tober.
It was a bright one until it was very, very dark. But yeah, like that's not inaccurate. It's just disappointing altogether, as it always has been.
Yeah. As for Jason Momoa and Aquaman, Safran said Jason always thought Aquaman was a trilogy in his own mind. But listen, he loves Lobo. He's been very clear about that too. He's never going to play two characters, but no decisions have been made. And then Gunn said we would figure that out after Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. To me, that just sounds like, which he said, hey, I can do multiple characters. They're not going to take Aquaman from me. Kind of sounds like they might, bud. We'll see. I'm down to see.
Yeah.
Answering the question of what is going on with Ezra, they said Ezra is fully committed to the recovery right now. And we talked to them. We're in constant contact. But when the time is right, we'll have the conversation with them and decide what's best for them personally and also for us.
Fair enough.
Sounds like they're on the fence about what's going on with Ezra.
Yeah. And honestly, I, as before, put their personal health before the rest of it.
Absolutely. Just as we said when Ben was taken out because he was drinking,
Yep.
Talked about connectivity as a major focus and the commitment of joining the DCU as an actor. Said they will have to go back and forth between film and television because there's no demarcation for us. If you're John Cena playing Peacemaker in the movie, you are playing him on the TV series. So that is a very important part of what we're doing. So there's no audience confusion. There are not multiple people playing the same role. This is the story.
That would be incredible. Honestly, think Guggenheim gets some credit for that, just for having done what he did.
Mm-hmm.
And in that fucking Crisis CW event,
mm-hmm.
he broke some of that ground. Like I've never seen the movies kiss down to the TV universe like that.
Yeah,
it's so rare. I can't remember another version.
Because of that, I am perfectly fine with Momoa playing Aquaman and Lobo if he wanted to in the same scene. Yeah. Put him in the same scene. Play around.
Yeah, even after Crisis, and weirdly, of all this, the CW currently until The Flash, I suppose maybe,
mm-hmm.
is the definitive version of like DC Prime.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen that rewritten. That is currently where the universe stands. So like they either redo that, it stands, and we incorporate some stuff, or like at least this version is we take from it.
Well, my favorite thing is that I feel like every universe thinks that knows that there are other universes call themselves Prime.
Oh, sure. Wouldn't you? I mean,
except for the few that are like, I'm Earth 1.
Yeah. I mean, if somebody showed up right now, walked in this room and said like, and looked exactly like me in this exact outfit, I'd be like, other Jason. Okay. Like, that's how you would do.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't.
Unless they were
if I saw another Dave come in, I'd be like, cool. One, is this a simulation or is an alternate reality?
I mean,
which one is the original version?
If we're going that way, I would assume that I ate something or drank something and am tripping. Yeah. But yeah, all that aside,
I'd be like, I have several questions.
Yeah.
Alternate universe, clone, what are we dealing with here? Like,
yeah. Now, I mean, there's a version where if like the other version we walked in and was in different shape, I'd be like, all right, handsome Jason, you're clearly the Prime.
If not the Prime, the Alpha.
Yeah. I'm clearly subordinate in this situation. What will you have me do, sir? Like, what else would you do? You just follow
And then
the
he's like, nah, man, I'm strung out on coke. And you're like, oh, shit.
Oh, no, sorry. You came here for help. My bad. All right, sit down. Do you want some water? Do you want?
Here's Jean-Claude Van Goss.
Oh, it's that kind of thing. Oh, my bad.
You look good, but insides are very dirty.
I mistook your rigidity for confidence instead of just insecurity of trying to stand firm.
Yeah. All right, so this was funny to me. Is like all the headlines were like, "The Batman 2 has an official name and release date." I'm like, okay, cool. What's the official name? The Batman Part 2.
Yeah, that's definitely what they're going to do. Like,
really? That's it? That's all you got? Matt Reeves? I was thinking.
No, it's actually going to be titled The Batman
Part 2.
A bit later.
A bit later.
As told by Alfred.
This summer, The Batman, a bit later. I love it. And then the third one would be The Batman, a bit later than that.
Yeah.
That's like if Batman was made by Noel Fielding or some shit. Just...
Batman 4 is set 30 years in the future. Batman, you don't even want to know.
Yeah.
The Batman, we're all balding now.
Starring Noel Fielding and Richard Iowati.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I would love to see a Noel Fielding Batman. Now that she said
I would.
It'd be fun.
I would.
Just as a college humor thing. Just go for it. Just dress him up in a Party City outfit and let me see what it looks like. It'd be a better Nightwing though, with the hair. He's already got the eye makeup.
He does have the eye makeup.
I could dig it.
And the Mighty Boosh, he reminds me so much of Michael Shackelford.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
He's a British Michael Shackelford.
He very much is, yeah. I know him somewhat from British baking that like if you just put a cowl on him, just real quick, just the top part, just the top part. Mm-hmm. It'll do.
For those wondering, Michael Shackelford is our friend, Jason's best friend, and guy that helped him do the music for the show.
And all the interstitials you've heard.
When I still play them.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm lazy and I just cut the break.
Yeah, but we have no interstitials. So it's still all of the interstitials you've heard.
Anyway, Gunn said Matt is working on Batman 2, which he thinks of it as a Batman crime saga, which also includes the Penguin TV series. And it is its own thing, and he's hard at work on that. He came in and pitched us some amazing, really cool stuff the other day. Our plan is for that to continue. Safran added, Batman's not a stepchild. I mean, it's all under DC. We are fully invested in the success of the Batman, just like we are everything else. And Gunn said, of course, everything's going to be balanced. So The Brave and the Bold is not going to be coming out in the same 6-month period as Batman. That all sounds good.
Yeah.
That all sounds right.
It's a fair consideration. Yeah.
I can take 2, 3, 4, 5 Batman. We realize, of course, though, that if we got DCU Batman, that's one. In a minute, I'll talk about how Gunn teases that Michael Keaton Batman can still be around. All right, that's two. So if Ben Affleck's Batman is still out there somewhere, that's three. Got Robert Pattinson's Batman, that's four. So they're contradicting David Zaslav's thing from a few months ago, and he was like, "There's not going to be 4 Batmen." To me, like, I've never heard the guy speak, but to me, in my head, David Zaslav sounds like my character from Hey Guy. Like,
A little bit, yeah.
there's not going to be 4 Batman there, guy.
Throw it back, chin the throat thing.
It's not making enough damn
There will
money
be
there, guy.
more than a couple of Batmen. Yeah. We've looked at those review numbers.
Someone...
Quarter one did not come out to what we're supposed to be.
there weren't that many people at Berkeley, like the magazine said there, guy. It was like 30 guys. So someone asked what would happen. They said this is a kind of a long-term question. Superman is going to be entering the public domain in the decade from now, and you have a lot of classic characters that are going to be coming up with that issue. How is that ultimately impacting the way that you are defining who these characters are in this moment? And James Gunn says, well, I mean, number one, it is a very complicated issue. It is not cut and dry. There are a lot of technical things around what pieces actually enter the public domain, which you may or may not know about. So there's that. But there's also, that's one of the reasons why we have Superman and why we're bringing the authority into the mainstream. I mean, who would have thought 11 years ago the 2 most popular rides in the world are Guardians of the Galaxy ride? 2 of the most popular rides in the world are based on a comic that 20,000 people knew. And so being able to try to create these other properties, use our diamonds, our Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman to prop up our Booster Golds or Green Lanterns or Plastic Mans, or whatever is important. Did he just say that they're working on a Plastic Man?
He did mention that he's thinking about him. Yeah, that's definitely what just happened right now.
Okay, just making sure. On the Batgirl cancellation.
I mean, he's not wrong about how complicated that is. And also, like, you know why we have all the barriers for copyright we have already? Is Disney. Like, they just keep extending that shit. And they're also their own country in a certain way. So, like, yeah, I'm not worried about that exactly. Copyright law will probably just follow in place and let them do what they need to do.
Yeah.
It will be fun to see them fight that battle over once instead of Disney.
You know what? I'd be fine if, like, because if it goes in the public domain, that means everybody can mess with it.
Yeah, you can make a Winnie the Pooh horror movie. Right.
So, and yeah, it's complicated, but, I wouldn't mind being able to do, Superman stuff, draw some stuff and get it out there and maybe do my own posters and whatnot.
Yeah.
Now,
that shirt of yours that I bought would not be, criminal anymore.
What shirt did you buy that was criminal?
I don't know. You drew like Henry Cavill Superman in the rain thing, and I liked it. I bought it. And
you bought it? You have that?
Yeah, I have that.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
I have it. It's in my drawer.
I've never seen what it looks like, the actual shirt.
Oh, yeah, I'll show you.
I put it up for like a week, and Warner Brothers demanded I take it down. So
I bought it before that.
Yeah, you did.
Thought it slapped.
But, you did.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't be able to do that shit.
Well, I saw a bunch of other people.
Can't keep me from buying your shit anymore. That's the Matrix.
I saw a bunch of other people doing it. I thought, like, I guess Warner Brothers doesn't really care.
And then they were like,
it was like a week. Yeah, it was like a week.
Specifically you. Get fucked.
What about all these people drawing Henry Cavill with a Superman symbol?
I think the problem was the likeness was actually too good.
No, I don't think so.
It did look really Henry Cavill.
But they could still do it. Like, they just wouldn't be the only ones making Superman shit.
I know.
Copyright law specifically, like this version of the character, like the golden age version of Superman, who like grew up in an orphanage and Ma, Pa, Kent weren't there, and you can't actually do like, because that's why they kept changing the logo so they could have like, no, this is his logo.
This era.
This is his logo, like the one that everybody knows. Golden Age Superman had like a triangle with a squiggle. That was his logo with a black background.
Of course. These matter. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's 75 years old. Talking about the Batgirl cancellation, says Batgirl's a character that inevitably we will include in our story. Excellent. That's what Safran said. Of
course.
On the Batgirl front, it's not about late in the process of the film getting canceled. I saw the movie, and there are a lot of incredibly talented people in front of and behind the camera on that film. But that film was not releasable, and it happens sometimes. That film was not releasable. They reiterate. I actually think that Zaslav and the team made a very bold and courageous decision to cancel it because it would have hurt DC. It would have hurt those people involved. I think that they really stood up to support DC. The characters, the story, the quality of all that. I spoke to Adil and Bilal, the directors, last week. We are chatting. We'd love to be in business with all those folks. Christina Hodson wrote it. She's one of the brain trust. Mm-hmm. Some people are already back in business with us. As I said, a lot of talented people were involved, but the film just was not releasable. It would not have been able to compete in the theatrical marketplace. It was built for the small screen. So again, I think it was not an easy decision, but they made the right decision by shelving it. Yeah, that just sounds like we didn't get ever seeing that.
No, that got buried. And I even saw a bit earlier about how Fraser and whatever her name was. I'm sorry.
Brendan Fraser and Leslie Grace.
Grace, thank you. We're talking about how like they had all these action scenes where they're just beating on each other, and it was really good. And I'm sure a lot of scenes were great. You can't make something that long without some of it being kind of great. But like, I don't know. Was it actually that bad? Was it just because it was the wrong ratio? Was it just because it wasn't going to actually fit the context of the future universe?
Or was it just a bad movie?
Or was it just a bad movie? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
I really don't.
And, you know,
it's funny to hear him talk about this in such like specific terms. That film was not releasable.
I mean, are we talking about like a 1994 Justice League on ABC kind of situation?
Yeah. Like TV film thing, or like was the running plot line through the entire movie that the Nazis were right? I don't know. I don't know what they mean by not releasable.
Yeah.
But it sounds dire.
Yeah, it does sound pretty bad. They just keep saying the same thing over. And, you know, we've got friends.
Like, they cut $80 million out of the budget and said, nope, just call it a loss.
Yeah. Can you imagine how bad a movie has to be?
Dude, I ate a sandwich when it's bad and it cost me $8.
Yeah.
Because I need the food. Like, that like, calling it a loss, one bite in and saying, that $8, is it worth it to me? And just throwing it the rest of the Subway sandwich is not the same. Forgive the franchise there.
So, you would think, though, because to me, I'm like, was it really that bad, or did it just not fit into what they were doing going forward?
Very different conversation.
Because we know that they have changed bits of The Flash, the ending of The Flash.
100%. I mean, yeah, was it a bad movie, or did it just not fit? Entirely different conversation.
And what I have been saying over and over again is Batgirl was supposed to be the first movie in a new universe because they were going to... Walter Hamada was wanting to change it up too. Mm-hmm. Michael Keaton was Batman. Mm-hmm. Her dad was Commissioner Gordon, was J.K. Simmons. Mm-hmm. Sounds like it wouldn't have made sense with what they're doing. And they just went...
No mas.
I mean, it's bad enough that it's not for the theater. It's bad enough.
Maybe that's ratio too, but...
maybe it's got a aspect ratio situation. But also, this is just not the universe we're doing anymore.
Yeah.
Either way, stop whining about it. We're not going to see it.
I mean,
get over
we're
it.
at that point. Like, it's not happening. And I'm curious, though. Like,
I'm honestly just sincerely sick of seeing people complain about it. Because I just don't care enough. Like, I love it, and I would want to see it. And it'll always haunt me that there's a Michael Keaton Batman movie out there that I didn't get to see. But also, shut up.
It should. My thing isn't... my thing is that harsh. But my thing is like...
it's not really that harsh for me either. I just like...
I get it. But like
On bad days, it feels that way.
Well, on bad days in the environment of DC, a lot of times what you have to do is have your own emotions. Just be like, God damn it, I can't handle this right now. And sometimes that may mean like what somebody else is saying that's even in our own community. But like in this case, yeah, like it just may not have fit.
Mm-hmm.
It might not have been good enough. But yeah, fuck yes, I would love to see a Keaton version.
Yeah.
Of anything again, ever. Are you fucking kidding me? And oh my God, the Brendan Fraser Firefly.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I feel like even the beloved...
And I know we're in the, what do they call it?
The Renaissance of Fraser.
No, they have a funny term that's fun. The Renaissance? They call it the Renaissance.
Okay.
Yes, I would love to see that. Because
The
apparently
last person who stuck their finger that close in my face got thrown through a plate glass window.
You just ate it last time.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm a dirty whore.
This is what happens when we record.
We're together?
Together, yeah.
Okay.
I gesticulate, and occasionally it's getting close to your face.
You gesticulate, I lose an eye.
Yeah. I try to keep track.
It's a fair trade.
I have a toddler and 2 dogs that don't understand shit. We do our best about that.
And I lead a quiet life without either of those things.
So it alarms you when someone puts their finger.
So it alarms me when someone rudely throws their finger into my eyeball.
I was several inches away, for the record.
Several inches, eh?
Mm-hmm.
I was about 1.5 inches. I see you've gotten used to exaggerating things in inches for some reason.
Somewhere in there.
Anyway, what were we talking about?
Probably DC.
Yeah, probably. Oh, yeah, I was just going to say, even, I feel like even our beloved members of our community who listen to this show and are so angry about Batgirl. I feel like if they got to see it, they'd be like, oh, that was kind of shit and doesn't fit anything.
Probably. I think that's why the decision was made on the front end.
Yeah. And let me ask you this, people out there who are so angry about Batgirl being canceled and not being seen again. What would you rather have happen? Would you rather see a shitty Batgirl movie that doesn't fit into any damn thing they're doing for the rest of mankind's tenure on this stupid little planet? Or would you rather them release it and hear assholes shit on you because DC still can't get their shit together and nothing makes sense canon-wise? You know what? I'd rather not have Batgirl. If they know it's not going to fit, if they know it's...
Well, that's where you're wrong, though. It's both ways. Cancel or not cancel.
Yeah.
It's both ways.
But like...
For the second argument.
You're going to have those people going, why would they release this?
Yeah, but then obviously we have, why did you not release this?
Like, you know what?
It should have been canon. It shouldn't have been canon.
I think it's better to wonder what if.
No, that's the decision that apparently they've been rolling with recently.
Yeah.
Last 6 months or so.
It's better to wonder what if than to know that it was shit.
Just cut it off. Just cut it off.
Yeah.
You remember the phrase? It's better to be silent and be thoughtful than to open your mouth and confirm it or whatever the hell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a good call. That's a good mantra for Warner Brothers. Yeah, just keep your mouth shut. Let us think you're a fool.
Yeah, and hopefully they got the phrase better than I did, because I completely fucked that up. But you know what I mean.
But there are at least 5 or 6 people that I can think of off the top of my head right now that I just wish, I wish they could watch Batgirl, and I wish I could watch their faces while they're watching Batgirl, and they just go,
"Oh no!
Oh shit!
Oh no!
Oh, what is Keaton doing? Oh my god!"
No, it's possible. I mean, I doubt.
Because I just think
this is going to work.
There has to be
how it's going to work.
much.
There's going to be if you watched Batgirl, if me and you watched Batgirl, there are going to be whole scenes where oh my god, I can't believe they couldn't have fixed this movie to make that scene work.
Yeah, that singular scene.
Yeah, there was so much here. You can't make an entire fucking movie and not make something good. It's possible.
Yeah,
there are documentaries about it, but
well, look, Batman and Robin had a couple of good scenes, I guess. Maybe.
Yeah, but you can't just...
Or if not good, things I enjoyed.
Yeah, but For the wrong reasons.
Maybe.
But you didn't watch it and think, this is great filmmaking. This is...
Yeah.
The
Actually,
writers here must have been so proud.
For my actual self, my inner being, the thing that like I think there might have been like 2 clips in Batman and Robin that I just like really like made my heart soar.
Yep.
Like one thing is like when they have Ivy in the prison, and this is after Freeze knows that she was gonna let his wife die. And for some reason, the second time they put him in the cell, they let him keep his suit. But he like walks out of the shadows was so dope. I was like, when he walks out of the shadows to confront Ivy in that cell, I was like, God, that looks so cool.
Yeah.
Like, why couldn't they have made him as menacing and cool as that scene the whole movie?
Like, if you gave me $150 million, I would get 2 seconds right, probably.
That was like 3 seconds, but yeah. And also there was like that... Really,
accidentally, mind you. But I might be able to do that.
There was that dope-ass scene in that
Just talking
movie
about odds.
where they're in like Freeze's rocket flying up into the air, and then they like bust out, and for some reason there were like panels that were like surfboards.
Of course.
I don't know, it didn't make any sense, but it was cool in a 90s kind of way, in a 90s action movie kind of way, where like Batman and Robin were like sky surfing down to
I do remember that.
to Mr. Freeze, and I was just thought like, that looks dope. I don't know how that works, and that's really dumb.
I guess physics don't matter for a bit.
I was
Godspeed, sirs.
Well, they did surf downward.
No.
They did. They surfed.
I mean, I know, but no.
I don't think those boards would have stayed on their feet.
No.
But look, we had just watched them like click their damn heels together like Dorothy, and they got like they got ice skates,
ski blades.
Yeah. So like for all I know, they have magnets.
Ski blades? What the fuck are they called? Ice skates. Yes.
For all I know, they have magnets in their feet, and they're holding on to them. Why they need surfboards?
Yeah.
No clue. That
Fuck
movie was,
all of me to explain.
Oh my God. And you know what was actually really good in a horrible way, but also I loved it, was John Glover.
Oh, yeah, no. He was terrible. And just the right ways.
In the best ways.
Yeah.
Like, John Glover. John Glover could just...
Altogether delightful.
I bow at that man's feet.
I would drink champagne out of his slipper.
Like, because I know he can do better than that. Like, I know he can do like...
Oh, it's not that.
He can do like serious like drama.
Oh, yeah.
But he can also ham it up and be fantastic.
It's not that he can't do something. It's that like he took that role and he fucking committed.
Yeah. And he was like, we're doing a cartoon. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down with it. Whether or not there will be R-rated projects, Gunn says it depends on the story. We're going to give every story what it deserves. That's exactly what I want to hear. Mm-hmm. The future of Keaton as Batman says... Safran says there's always possibilities. Gunn says we are a multiverse still.
Yeah, of course you are.
Yeah. He continues.
You have no choice. You walked into that.
He does continue. The main thing that we're focusing on right now is creating the universe that people put their feet into. And then out of that, if we want to have multiverse tales, which I actually know one of the things we're working on does have a multiverse tale, is we'll have that in here. Hell yes. And there's not a damn person in this world that will convince me that James Gunn, comic geek that he is, comic connoisseur that he happens to be, isn't digging his dick deep into multiverse shit.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, he's deeply, as you would state, qualified.
Deeply qualified.
Not the image I would have chosen.
Right.
But I get what you're going for, and I agree.
He should be making tweets about the multiverse touching him in his no place.
Let's not regress.
I couldn't stop it. I had to do it. They did say that Superman and Lois is expected to continue for 1 or 2 more seasons. Gunn says it's a show everybody likes, so it's going to keep going for a little bit. Hey, that's good news.
Yep.
I like Superman and Lois, and also they have like a gap. They have a year where they just need something else to be on.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I like Superman and Lois.
I did too.
I wouldn't mind them having a good ending to that. Just let's flesh it out a little bit and end it.
A lot of what's not going to be included, I've seen some of it, obviously, about what's getting canceled. And, it is what it is. Things change. This could happen 12 years from now, and the whole thing died. It didn't matter, and it wasn't related. Circumstances are what they are. I would just, like any story, prefer some kind of ending.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
So one person asked about the Joker being off the table because of Joaquin Phoenix's portrayal in the 2019 movie and the upcoming sequel. Mm-hmm. Gunn and Safran said nothing is off the table. Gunn says that's all under us too. Everything is under us. So they could do whatever they want. Just because there's Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie doesn't mean there's not going to be a Joker in something else.
Yeah.
And I'm down with that. I dig that. The first 2 chapters are planned, they said, with the 8 to 10 year plan. A member of the press asked with the 8 to 10 year plan, do you envision it being 3 chapters? Is it 2 chapters? James Gunn said, we already know the 8 to 10 year plan is 2 chapters, and there's an ending to our basic story that we tell there, but it's not the ending of the universe. So now, will Peter and I be here beyond that time? And Safran said, for sure. Gunn said, I'm already tired. It's been 2 months. And those first 2 chapters are worked out, and then it can keep going after that. Now,
that does answer my question from the beginning of the podcast.
Yeah. I couldn't remember exactly what they said. But I wouldn't count Gunn out just yet. He's tired right now because he's doing everything.
Yeah, he'll delegate.
Yeah, once he starts delegating and they get like a really firm brain trust going, they know where they're going, man, he's going to Kevin Feige that shit, and he'll just be sitting behind the scenes stroking a cat.
Hopefully.
I don't know. Gunn's kind of crazy.
It's not that. I mean, I have
no
distrust for him personally.
It's I'm not saying I don't trust him. I'm saying I don't.
Oh, no.
He's just nuts.
It's a new position entirely.
Yeah, he's kind of a nut, and he is good at writing and directing, and I kind of feel like he's going to want to do all that.
Oh, yeah. No, he may drive himself absolutely batty. But, if he can find a way to delegate that, and honestly, beginning what we were talking about earlier, in the first 30 minutes, about, how he's having to figure out the new role and all that, him personally, he's got a couple choices. Mm-hmm. He's going to figure out how to actually make this role work, so that he, and I don't put this lightly, fucking survives, or he's going to not. If I were Gunn, I would be borderline psychotically making sure that I don't fail at this, just to quiet the assholes on the internet. Well, I think that's part of him too. But he's going to do it, for pride, for God, King, and country, and all that shit. But
God, King, and country.
he's gonna have to figure out how to actually do. I hate this fucking phrase, but it makes sense here. Delegate and elevate. Elevate. Yeah.
Delegate and elevate.
I hate it so much I've never practiced it before.
You're saying it like it's your kid's name. Evelate. Evelyn? No.
I do that all the time. Mostly I call her Penny sometimes.
You call your daughter Penny.
I try not to. But they're both bad dogs.
Penny is his dog. Penny is his dog.
I mostly call her the right name, but occasionally they just both misbehave at the same time.
Yeah.
And they're playing together.
No, I've been over there. They both constantly misbehave at the same time. That's all they do.
And they're playing together.
That's all those two do.
Yeah.
It's misbehave.
Stop it. But with him,
a terrible duo.
Yeah, I know.
You and Bruce are just sitting there. That's the other dog. You and Bruce are just sitting there looking like you want to die.
God damn it! Why this again? But yeah, I completely feel him as far as he's moving into a new position entirely.
Yeah,
this is wholly different than anything he's ever tried before, and he has to figure out how to actually make sure that all parts of his vision are actually going to be instantiated some way. That's going to be fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't pick the right people to actually do that, it could go badly.
Yeah.
One of the probably one of the best things about how Feige's managed this isn't that he had some like, and now we're comparing these two, so this is where we're at. Like, it's not that, I mean, it's a similar position. So
it's a similar position, yeah.
Not doing the MCU DC thing.
No.
It's very much that, like,
I'm excited about Gunn because this is probably the best chance we're ever going to get of having amalgam movies.
I completely agree.
I want Dark Claw, son of a bitch. I want Dark Claw.
Don't blame me a bit. And goddamn, I'd be there. But the thing that Feige probably does better than anyone else actually talks about, and all this bullshit that we read about on like CBR and Screen Rant, is he probably actually just picks the people who are supposed to do what he needs them to do better. He hires better. It's going to be a matter of whether Gunn can do that. Like, can he pick the people who are supposed to do what he needs in his vision? Mm-hmm. That'll be what makes or break this. Like, he can't do it all himself. He just can't. He's already talking about he's fucking tired. Like, he can't. Can he find the people that are going to help him? That's the make or break for this.
Yeah.
And
I love his idea of he's tapping so many actual comic book writers to do this. I love that.
To actually help him with the vision and guide that.
And I mean, I get it. I get it, all you whiny assholes out there, because I love Snyderverse too, but how many years have we been bitching, all of us, that they don't ever use the comic book writers in the movies? And
here we are.
Here we are.
And here they are.
James Gunn is doing it, and you're calling him a pedo. You need to get over it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You just need to get over it.
That's not a talking point that's worth a goddamn.
He made some dumbass jokes. That has nothing to do with anything.
But at the same time, like, who are we hiring? Actual fucking comic book writers.
Yeah.
Like, there's a chance for this to work. It kind of like the Brave and the Bold part. It is. It's dumb in a lot of ways too. Like, not focusing on the big three. Mm-hmm. Outright. Not hiring all the people that we already know. I get it. Mm-hmm. I get it. That sounds like a misstep. If it were me...
Sounds like a misstep.
If it were me in his shoes, I'd do the fucking same thing.
Well, the thing about it is...
I would start low, not...
If you keep Cavill...
Risk my entire fucking budget on, like...
If you keep Cavill,
one guy...
If you keep Ben... Even if you keep Godot... And maybe they're going to change that up. But... There's an expectation. People were already talking about, oh, I can't wait for Man of Steel 2 with Zach. Girl, ain't nobody said nothing about Zach.
Yeah.
We were talking about Cavill in October. In Darktober, as I call it. We were talking about Henry Cavill. And he was talking about a brighter, hopeful Superman. That sounds like he was just like saying some shit and crossing his fingers and hoping nobody would realize it was the same dude who was in some Zack Snyder movies. Now, Zach did show his support, but Zach supports all these people. Mm-hmm. Zach is a dude who's like, hey, I hope that for the best for all these people and all this stuff.
Yeah.
He's a fan of all of this shit. So, like I've said before on the show over and over again.
It really is a cul-de-sac, if you will.
A promise of Cavill was never a promise of Zach.
Yeah. Well, that, as I said before, part of my problem with hiring Cavill would be that you have to hire more people after that. Mm-hmm. Like, you're giving off more money than that contract would indicate. And same time, like, Snyder, I think just, I don't know, he's going to have to move on to different properties. He knows that. Mm-hmm. But you can't afford to keep him on the leash. And, like, you can't afford to buy him for all it's worth to actually like get everybody back involved.
I don't know that that's true. Like, honestly, I think
you can't get everybody that was in that money shot and Snyder actually back in without giving up. Like, that has to be the universe. You have to reboot or not.
At this point, I would say, as it stands, I would say they would not be able to get Ray Fisher because he would not accept it.
He would under the circumstances, I think.
I think Ray Fisher's being a little bitch, honestly. Like, he has gone off the deep end. He's attacking James Gunn without even knowing what the hell's even happening. He hasn't done any research. He's just fighting everybody to the point where everybody who supports him is like, nobody's even going like, yeah, Ray, you're right. They're all going, nah, man, this ain't it. Like, like, dude, James like deletes his tweets. Like, he's got like an automatic thing to like, He's not ignoring you, man. Like, he's not just deleting it.
I saw that.
God.
I mean,
but I mean, maybe those fences could be mended, but I think anybody, well, if Cavill is in the position with his career that we would seem to kind of catch, I think he would be good. He'd come back. I think Gal would come back for Snyder. I think everybody would come back for Snyder if they were doing like some small mini series or something on Netflix or on HBO Max.
Yeah, but I'm adding up the millions in my head as you say that.
I know, but if DC drops those guys, I'm not saying it's happening. I'm not saying there's a way forward. All I'm saying is if DC drops all of them, their value drops significantly. Think about that. What they're able to charge for a movie plummets.
I mean,
plummets.
Without those actors, right?
No, I'm saying like the value of those actors involved. So if they they ever decided like, we will do like an Elseworld story and finish up Zack's Justice League shit, they could get those assholes for pennies on the dollar, because Gunn doesn't like Wonder Woman 2. And for that matter, neither do I. I think it was a shit film. Henry Cavill? No, we got this other guy. We got Boy Toy over here. Whoever's playing Superman now.
Yeah.
We've got the new DCU. You guys are a cul-de-sac. We'll finish your cul-de-sac, but that's it. You're done unless we want to bring you in for like a crisis event or something. Their price drops. Like Cavill fired Garcia. He's looking for new management, from what I understand.
Yeah.
So, like, oh my God, have you seen that clip of Nikki Glaser talking about how she just wants a man who's like The Rock in San Andreas? And she's like, but shit, even The Rock wouldn't be The Rock in that real situation. If that actually happened, it would just be like The Rock running out of his mansion, like with his arms full of protein powder, with like Kevin Hart under one arm, running to his van. And then Andy goes, minivan full of chicken breasts. It's a Conan episode. It was so funny, but yeah, I had to send that to my wife the other day. I was cracking up over that. I had not seen that. That was totally. I just thought about The Rock because of Garcia, and I mean they made a mess of that.
I mean he's involved. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean there was like a whole bit a few weeks ago, a whole report about how he was like demanding they serve his brand of whiskey at the premiere and all this like high price shit, and I'm like, no wonder they didn't continue your shit, cuz you screwed up. You thought you was like, and they say that he was trying to like do his own like 10-year plan or something. And he says it's not true, but I kind of don't believe him.
I'm in between.
I kind of don't believe The Rock. I want to, but I kind of don't.
In one way, I completely believe him. Like, the reason this film ever got made or Black Adam ever got made, was because of just sheer force of personality.
Yeah.
Like,
and leading up to all
sold it.
Leading up to its floppiness. I don't know. I didn't feel like it was quite a flop.
Definitely not a flop as far as like it didn't lose money, but
that's why I say floppiness. It was tantamount to a flop. It was flop adjacent.
Phrase, it did not make enough money.
It didn't meet expectations, let's say. But leading up to that, he was like, "Oh yeah, we got plans. We're gonna do a sequel, but that's not gonna be Superman versus Black Adam. And then we're gonna do one after that. That's like Superman versus Black Adam, and we're gonna have Black Adam. And then you're gonna turn around after the shit is flopped and tell me that you didn't have all the 10-year plans. You had plans. You were sitting there in every interview talking about the hierarchy of the DC universe is about to change. No, it's not.
Well, yeah, when
it's not, because you suck.
I don't think it was that.
No,
I think it was more
wasn't
that like he did have plans. There were expectations. There were possibilities, and I don't think that smirk at the end of that movie was misplaced. Like we know Black Adam on a good day can actually take down Superman.
On a good day.
On a good day. I mean,
within the confines of the subjectively written DC universe, yes, sometimes he can take down Superman.
I qualified it for a reason.
Yes.
But
I was qualifying it further for people who are going to have a problem.
Yes, the writer will determine who wins, period.
The writer is God.
For God's sake, like...
For the writer's sake.
Plastic Man could take down Black Adam if you actually wrote it right.
Oh.
It doesn't fucking matter.
Oh, no. For that, I say Frank Miller is absolutely right. Plastic Man could destroy them all.
Actually, though, that's true.
Yeah, like Batman said, he could destroy us all.
I forgot about that.
And then I thought about it.
That was a bad take.
Oh, no. No, that was true.
That was a really bad pull.
Grant Morrison knows it. Mark Waid knows it.
Scott Snyder did that too.
Scott Snyder
forgot about it.
Plastic Man is the most dangerous son of a bitch in the DC universe.
I have made a grievous error.
Period.
I have made a grievous error in my argument, and I forgot what it even was. Fuck it.
Like
move to the next.
By virtue,
move to the next fucking segment.
By virtue of his powers,
move to the next segment. Let me live in shame.
It's not even
Dave.
Subjective.
Just let me live in shame.
Just like no, he is the most powerful. Anyway,
I'll die here.
Harley Quinn, the animated series,
should have picked
confirmed.
Elongated Me.
Yeah, you should have. You should have. Like in like Alex Ross's Justice, he even like shamed Elongated
I know.
Man.
I'm remembering all this now.
Harley Quinn, the animated series, has been confirmed to be continuing under DC Studios. Gunn says, we're going to keep forward with that. Safran said, show is fantastic. And Gunn said, yeah, considering I'm on the show.
I have nothing to add. Also, they included me.
So yeah, they did say, as I said before, some of the creature commandos might show up in 2024. They said, who knows? Waller might show up potentially in 2024 during that gap year we have. And we already talked about this because you brought it up. 4 releases a year, they said. Probably 2 movies and 2 HBO Max series per year. As far as gaming strategy, Gunn said what's very different about it for us, for DC, is it's not like we're going to have Superman come out and then have the Superman game come out. It's more like we have the Superman come out, and then 2 years later we have Supergirl coming out. So what's the story in between there? Is there a crypto game that we can play that comes in between that's still set in the world with these characters? Is that its own thing? The idea is to give the sort of prominence to games that they deserve.
I think this is the only area where I feel like he's naive.
You think so?
Yeah. Like, games never come out to what you think they're going to be.
They never do.
It's never that.
They never do. And I think, honestly, I think they will abandon the gaming strategy portion of this. I do.
Really, probably. That's the one part where, even this video, he said, like, movies, TV, animation, and games. And then later in the video,
he cut out
6
games.
minutes, he cut out games. You saw it too.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, and at that moment, I was like, yeah, I saw that. Like,
that video was edited weird.
I'm not worried about the editing. I just thought it was funny at the time, but honestly, my real thought about it is, dude, I don't think you can actually make the games work the way you think you can. Like, I mean, they have a whole different time frame.
Yeah,
they fail regularly. Like, they fail all the time.
Yeah,
and when they don't fail, it's a matter of just it's magical. Like, Game of the Year is a thing that people achieve by accident.
Game is a thing people achieve by accident.
Genuinely. It is chaos trying to actually make a game. And yeah, I think that's the part where he might just fuck off immediately. If he was going to pick a thing where he said, nope, not me.
Yeah.
And given his, esprit de corps right here, he might just tell them, you handle this part. And we'll see how that works, but I doubt even that'll work. If I had any advice for him, it'd be pick something far off. Because, by the way, those games you saw a few years ago in the fandom thing, how's that working out for you?
Hell. Actually,
they take more programming than a fucking movie.
They're taking a while.
You have to literally program an entire movie for every choice someone makes. Like, this is not easy. This is harder than everything else they're talking about. I'm not trying to shit on game developers here.
No.
They have a harder job than anybody else. Like, they work harder than probably...
And now they're expected to look as good as a damn movie.
Yeah, and it's supposed to look amazing these days. Yeah. No, this is a very, very, very hard job.
Every male who works on the game has to have a fin on the top of his dick. It's a whole thing. And they all have to do the Jaws theme when they're in the bath.
Yeah. Prince Albert's among us.
Yeah. It
is a very hard film to get into.
Well, asked about the Flash as a mechanism to bring about the reboot from the DCEU. They mentioned the efforts of Andy and Barbara Muschietti. Safran argued that the universe would have been in motion without that maneuvering. We had input on it for sure, but there's nothing we had to do in order to set up our universe. They have been at work on this movie for a while now. Initial whispers say that Ezra Miller's turn as the Scarlet Speedster actually works beautifully. But until audiences see the full product, the optimism is just that. Still, Gunn and Safran must be pretty impressed by whatever's on film to bring the team aboard their new venture with Warner Brothers Discovery. Gunn said, "What we did, we're very close with Andy and Barbara and the director and producer, and he's one of the guys that he's going to be doing some more stuff for us. And he's just done something really spectacular with that movie." I'm excited to see The Flash and see what they're talking about.
Yeah, of course.
Like, I've heard that it's basically DC's version of No Way Home.
Yeah, I mean, well.
Which makes me really hope Grant Gustin's involved.
I'm at a point where...
I don't want him to come out the other side being Grant Gustin, but I would love to see Grant and John Wesley Shipp involved in that.
Of course. I'm at a point with that film where I've heard so many things that I don't even know what to expect anymore.
Yeah, I don't either. Like, I think there have been so many, like, we know that Cavill shot a cameo that apparently is not going to go
Probably
forward.
gone.
Gal Gadot.
Probably
gone. But she was in it for a minute. We know Michael
Cyborg
Keaton's
was
in it.
Originally the major buddy.
He was never even shot because he refused to be in anything that Walter Hamada produced.
Yep.
And despite what he says and what several other people say, he was not fired. He quit. He did it on Twitter. I saw him do it.
Yeah.
I was getting notifications from Ray Fisher at that time, and I got a notification, looked down and went, oh,
I guess he's off that.
He just quit. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't even realize it. That was the worst part, is I knew it. I was like, he does not even realize he just quit. And DC was like, cool, we're moving on.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it, Ray. Ray. Anyway. So, yeah, I'm really interested to see what they actually do in The Flash.
I have this weird combination of wondering, after all we've been through, what's left? Like, what's left that you actually filmed and did and are going to produce?
Well, you know,
on the other hand, you opened the fucking playbook, so like, oh my God, what don't I know about?
Well, do you remember Nicolas Cage talking about, like, is it cool if I come back as Superman for just a cameo?
Briefly, yeah.
Yeah, you remember that? Yeah. Do you, like, there have been hints that there's a lot of stuff possibly in this movie.
Well, it'll fit, though. Like, the last time I saw him in something like this was the fucking CW thing. Like, yeah. Crisis on Infinite Earths, for fuck's sake. Like, a proper one.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I've ever seen produced. Like, it could follow in those footsteps, and it should. If I got to vote on the matter, it should. But, I don't know. They could keep it close to the vest and just make it a singular movie. I don't know.
And all the merchandising for this shows Sasha Kaya as Supergirl. Mm-hmm. They show Ezra in the modified Batman suit, which is basically just a Batman suit with the ears cut off.
Yeah.
And painted red. Like,
and the what I would call, here, let's see how it goes suit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kind of thing. Like,
by God, I need some kind of suit.
Yeah.
Damn it.
That would also be the 10 minutes later, oh my God, that didn't work out suit.
Yeah. I can't move my neck. Suit.
Well, that was fun, but I did one lap around the Batcave and I shredded the entire thing. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So we have to do some work here.
Yeah. Keaton's like, I put a chemical on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alfred Put a kettle on. We've got some work.
God, I hope Alfred's dead by now. Like, and if Bruce is like in his 70s, like Keaton is, like Michael Goff would just
he's got a Robo Alfred.
Is he just okay? So he's. I was just thinking like a head in a jar, like the villain in Crank 2. You know,
hear me out.
Shrunk. Please let me die.
Shrunk the dynamics a little bit, but he's got the robotics from the dinosaur.
I long for death, sir.
He shrunk the dinosaur into a palpable version and made a robot Alfred.
Yeah, like Jarvis.
Yeah, as you would.
As you would.
He has the means. Why
have you imprisoned my soul into this robot? Sir.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Sir, can I get you tea? I meant tea. I'm sorry again. And then just Batman. I knew you meant tea. Nothing.
Why is this soup cold, you piece of shit? His fishes was it's supposed to be cold.
Yeah. Is it? No, I forgot for several hours. I don't care anymore.
I never remember.
All I remember is my days as a dinosaur when things were simple. Things were simple.
I don't think we ever talked about that Shazam Fury of the Gods trailer they just released. They actually did a non-jokey version of that trailer. Mm-hmm.
It's fine.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say about it, but it's cool.
I'm good to roll on past that, but yeah. I'm down.
Yeah. Doom Patrol and Titans, they're ending after 4 seasons. Gunn says that was a decision made before he and Peter came on.
Not surprised about that.
What's cool is Mark Shepard, the guy that plays Willoughby Kipling, said Jeremy was prepared for this. The end of Doom Patrol Season 4B is really good. It's really good as an ending.
Good.
So,
I mean, shows that were that good, all I could hope for is a good, landing.
Yeah. I enjoyed Doom Patrol more than Titans, but I expect Titans will have a shitty ending as they have at the end of every season.
Stick the landing.
They never stick the landing.
Just this one time.
Please do.
I've said that since season 1.
Doom Patrol, I always assume they're going to stick the landing because I've always enjoyed it.
It's a nearly flawless show. And dear God, hold me to those words. I mean it. A nearly flawless fucking show.
Yeah. And, someone tried to call Gunn out, being like, well, you can still bring about the characters with the actors attached, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, yeah, but I can't save a show that's already been canceled.
Yeah.
Like, people have moved on. Yeah. Like, you can't undo that. Superman and Lois cast Walking Dead veteran Michael Cudlitz as Lex Luthor. Known to the world as the visionary billionaire behind LexCorp, but secretly the criminal underworld knows who Lex truly is, a brutal psychopath who terrorizes anyone he crosses paths with. When Lex debuts this season, it's been years since he dropped out of the public eye, and he's re-emerging hell-bent on correcting a personal injustice by enacting revenge on the 2 people he feels have wronged him, Superman and Lois Lane. I did not know who this guy was, Michael Cudlitz. I did not know. I don't watch The Walking Dead. It is not my jam.
I watched enough to see him introduced, and I definitely watched the Negan scene, as anyone would know if they heard me describe it. I know who he is. I have questions. He's redhead, so it makes me kind of wonder if they're going to go like a little bit of a Jesse thing. But I doubt it. They'll probably just like tell him to cut his hair. The one thing that, that mustache, how do you describe this? I'm going to describe it to you. Like this thing?
Fu Manchu?
Yeah. Does that? He has a famously good one. Like his fucking, it's banger. So I wonder if they're going to make him cut that or the hair.
Oh, I'm sure.
They could do neither and it would probably still work for him. Or they could do both and I think that would still work for him. And just bald him. But I'll tell you this. I think he'll fill out a fucking suit. I think he has good gravitas.
Yeah.
He'll make a good Luthor.
You want to know what's funny?
Right.
I have never seen this man before in my life, as far as I could remember. The news dropped that it was Michael Cudlitz, and I saw his picture, and I went, there is no way that's him, but I know it has to be. He was a freaking jock, like a football jock on 90210 in the early years for the first 3 or 4 seasons.
Nice.
And there's this awful scene. Like, he was always just kind of like, we knew he was there, and he would maybe have a line or two to Brandon or somebody. Me and my wife have been kind of like just throwing 90210 channel on Pluto TV. It just runs 24/7. They go through all 10 years or 9 years or whatever it is in about a week and a half. Mm-hmm. But he's been on it, and like the one thing, like the real spotlight moment for him that I've seen is him going up to Brenda after she's had this breakup with Dylan, and he's like, I've always wanted to ask you to dance, but you've always kind of been with Dylan. So, I mean, like, can we dance? And she's like, yeah, let's dance. I'm like, I know they ain't made this man Lex Luthor. Like, like, I looked at him, I saw his face, I was like, that's that man with that damn flat top on, who was like a baby face little jock on 90210.
Just look, that ain't it. But okay.
No, I'm down. I'm down to see. Like, looking at him from Walking Dead, I'm like, okay, you look kind of badass these days.
I think he'll fill out a white suit.
But it was like a week or two ago that I saw this guy and like caught wind of who he was for the first time. And then I flip over here and see like this man on Walking. I'm like, I know it ain't that boy. I know it, but that mole is just placed too well. I know it's got to be him. And it was.
That'll work. I mean,
it's so weird.
For anyone who's not seen the finale of that part, I'll say I did see some of his tenure on Walking Dead.
Uh-huh.
I liked him as a character.
Yeah.
Abraham, I think. And then I saw how it ended, and that was just like, I was just checking out a clip kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
Just YouTubed, how did this go down? And it's a very ballsy ending for him. I'm using the word ballsy very specifically.
Oh. Just tell me what happened.
He just gets his brains beat in, and he tells the guy that's killing him to suck his nuts.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, that's cool, man. I'm glad he's getting more work, and that he didn't just like, if I was, when I was like sitting there in the drawer or whatever while 90210 was on, it takes me back to my childhood. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm like, I remember that scene with Brandon and Andrea's like, you had your chance. You know, like, it brings me back. But, you know, seeing a guy like that, I'm like, I wonder whatever happened to that poor son of a bitch. And then to find out, like, oh, man, he's been kind of killing it on Walking Dead and stuff, and he's about to be Lex. And he's a chubby guy. Like, he started out as a chubby guy, so I kind of feel like a kinship with him.
No, yeah.
I'm like, he
could have a gut at any given role, and like, you're like, nah, I feel that.
He's like the kind of the tallish, round-shouldered kind of gut kind of guy. I'm like, that's my people. It's my people. So I kind of feel like a kinship. I'm like, oh man, you did it.
Yeah.
You made it. You turned a character, you became a character actor and did a thing. And now you're not just like sheepishly being like, can I dance with you, Brenda? Now that the skinny, like hot dude with the vanilla ice haircut isn't in the picture anymore for 2 damn seconds. Yeah.
Well, but now that we've gotten past the spoilers, we're also dealing with like, in this.
We're Dylan.
Yeah, no.
Dylan McKay.
No.
Played by Luke Perry on 90210.
Pull me back.
Oh.
Hold on. Well, pull me forward.
You see what it down at 90210?
Yeah.
Oh.
But in this current universe, we have a time where this Lex Luthor was brutally killed by Thomas Wayne.
Uh-huh.
And what's crazy fun about that show is it's Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and I forget her name. But you remember in the opening scene, BBS?
Yes.
Whatever her name was? Mm-hmm. Walking Dead lady?
Yeah. I remember that she was on Walking Dead. I never watched Walking Dead, but I know she was in it.
Yeah. All together. And everyone's killed everyone.
Uh-huh.
Just for funs. I forget her name. She's really good in that show, though. She was actually...
I remember when...
She was one of the reasons I watched that show as long as I did.
When
nothing against the show really as far as I fell off, but
the possibilities of a Flashpoint movie even were broached starring those two as Batman and the Joker. I did look up some scenes and thought she could be fun.
Oh yeah, no, she would be fun. Yeah, she could absolutely play.
I didn't know what the hell was going on because I don't watch The Walking Dead, but
I've seen some of that. And past where I fell off, I've seen some dialogue here and there, like reviews, people talking about it, and yeah, she absolutely could fuck that thing up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she could, 100% rock the world as far as that goes.
For anyone interested, my disinterest or fantasy, and then zombies. Like, zombies a little less poignant, a little less hard-edged than fantasy. But before fantasy even is fantasy with a lot of incest.
Oh, that'll do it.
Because I can get down with some Neil Gaiman books. I'll read anything Neil Gaiman writes.
Of course. Just for speculation, it's probably good. But, yeah, I could get behind you on that one.
Well, just like a bunch of people in capes, like having sex with their siblings.
I don't have like a huge zombie obsession by any stretch. The only two that occur to me a lot are I have zombie dreams.
Yes, you do.
All the time.
All the time.
And my favorite movie is Shaun of the Dead. And I don't think those are related.
Shaun of the Dead is a special case because it's a fantastic film.
But it's not like I don't watch every zombie film.
No.
And by every, I mean almost none.
Yeah, you're not going to watch every zombie film and be like, one day one of them will be as good as Shaun of the Dead.
No, it's
Shaun
not
of the
meant
Dead
to
is
be.
just fantastic.
It's just an extracurricular thing. It's fine. Those are unrelated topics.
Yeah.
Also, probably having talked about it tonight, I'll probably have some zombie dreams this evening.
It's okay.
And if we're lucky, I might beat him tonight.
But, what's his name? Let's find out again. Michael Cudlitz will be there to protect you in your dreams against the zombie horde. Unfortunately, he'll be wearing a Letterman jacket. And
He failed in the zombie horde.
And he'll
situation.
have a flat top, and he'll ask the zombies to dance now that Dylan's not in the picture anymore.
He will not help me one bit.
No, he won't. He will dance with you briefly, and then he will die.
Yeah, it'll happen that way.
Neil Gaiman confirmed.
I mean, we've all been there.
Neil Gaiman confirmed Dead Boy Detectives is still happening. Toby Litt on Twitter says Dead Boy Detectives is still definitely happening. They're filming it now, sets and directors and everything. Neil says, and it's so good. Happy to see that. Pennyworth is canceled, though.
Ah, fuck me.
It's done.
Which annoys me, because I literally started finally getting around to that, like, this week.
Did you?
I mean, I'm on season 2, episode 2, right now.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic.
Yeah. Is it?
Yes.
Is it really good?
Oh, it's fantastic.
Well, maybe they knew they were going to end and they have an ending. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
I have no idea.
I'm hoping.
The ending is like Pennyworth goes on to be Batman's butler.
Hopefully. But like they do a little bit of time jump, and like between season 1 and 2 I was like, oh, we're doing time jumps. Maybe this will actually like space out. Like, I just watched season 1 and the whole time I was like, this is fucking thrilling. But by the way, it is basically a spy thriller, which has nothing to do with the fact that it's Alfred Pennyworth.
Yeah.
Like, that was, I think, the whole point.
It was the whole point. It was oddly what made me excited to watch the show, and also the thing that ultimately kept me from watching it.
Oh, time. Just time in the day.
Time and it being on Epix for a while.
Oh, no, it was
also
inaccessible
kinda
for a
killed me.
second for me.
Yeah.
I got to Stars, it finally got to HBO Max, is where I finally, like, it's on HBO Max right now, and that's where I saw it and went, oh, I guess we're going to finally watch an episode of this. I watched one episode, and that was my weekend.
Yeah.
Like, that was my weekend. It was actually really fucking good. Like,
wow. Yeah. I was
taken.
I need to sit down and give it a shot now that I know it's ending, and I don't have to, like, worry about it for the next 8 years or something.
Well, as far as I know, 3's... Is 3 a pending thing, or... aired?
No, 3 is currently airing, and it's over after that.
Okay. All right, so then 2 I'm currently in.
Okay.
That's what I was trying to remember, is like, is it all of 3 that is in my queue, or am I fucked? Yeah.
You're always bad.
I'm always a bit fucked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Aren't we always a bit fucked? But yeah, like...
Man, I don't know. I'm looking forward to all this, like, extracurricular weird shit winding down. Like, as much as I love Doom Patrol, I get it. Like, cut it. Like,
I mean, it can't go on forever, and I hope it... I just hope it wraps up well.
I'm also, like, a fan of British TV, so I'm like...
Yeah, but
do
wrap
your
up
quick
well.
shit. Yeah. Do your quick shit and
If
move
anything,
on.
I just don't want it to do that American thing where you just cut it off.
Well, I don't want to do the American thing where you cut it off, or the American thing where you go for like 25 seasons and you just want it to
Exactly.
die.
Neither of those is good. Like, because the 25 seasons, you still don't cut it off. You do like one emotional episode at the end where, and let's face it, on Nielsen ratings version, it's like 650,000 people saw this, as opposed to the 12.5 million that were there for the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
That's how actual ratings work in the real world here.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, no, cut it off in the middle. Cut off in the middle and actually have like a real ending. Put a pin in it. I'm hoping for that for all of the shit we just talked about, frankly.
Yeah.
Because, well, for many reasons. I'm invested in all those shows.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just currently watching Pennyworth and be very mad about it.
I'm sorry. News came down today. Literally today.
I know.
Like, as you were pulling up, I saw Pennyworth was canceled and copied that news over. Like, it popped up as you were pulling up with Taco Bell in your truck.
As I was pulling up to an adjacent street. Because your driveway is too steep. And my tire's too bald.
Let's go to a quick break, and then we'll come back with some feedback.
Are you struggling to conceive? You have options, and at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group, we'll make sure you have the guidance and support you need. PREG is known for individualized fertility care that's unique to every patient. We take the time to provide a reassuring and empowering experience because we believe that you deserve nothing less. Let us help you on your journey to parenthood. Visit us at pregonline.com to learn more. Get the guidance and support you need at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group.
We're back for a brief period of time, hopefully, because it's late and we're so tired. Andre Sparks, we've got some feedback for you. Andre Sparks, it says, in relation to the DC slate, not bad. Supergirl movie and Swamp Thing movie are surprises. I hope we get Donald Faison and Booster Gold as Booster Gold and Zach Braff as Skeets. That'd be fun. I thought about Zach as Blue Beetle, but not as Skeets.
Their pitch was Braff as Blue Beetle, but I like that more in certain ways.
I do too. Batman and Son could be interesting if they do it like the animated movie. I hope Swamp Thing movie is like the show. It was great. God, I hope you're wrong. It's not.
No.
We just don't like that show.
It's not for me, man. I'm sorry.
Love you, Andre. I'm sorry.
No, but where I like that, I really like the tone of the show. I want the horror thing.
Uh-huh.
I just feel like James Wan didn't get to go as far as he might have gone to go with it.
Also, the thing about horror is it's scarier if you can see some things.
Yeah.
If you just see like a black
and then not
screen.
see the other things.
Yeah.
And then, oh my God, I just almost want to do a dissection of the scene where there was the shooting later anyway, with the Blue Devil and, oh my God,
Wait, was Ian Ziering Blue Devil?
Names? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to look that up real quick. Sorry.
There was a Blue Devil for sure.
Because that's another weird connection. If that's true, if I'm remembering that true. Oh my God. Please, no. Oh, he was Blue Devil. He was Blue Devil on Swamp Thing.
Who dat?
Steve Saunders from 90210.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
I thought I remembered it was him.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I was so happy to see Blue Devil.
Everything's coming up.
I really love that character.
Everything's coming up 90210.
I know.
For me these days.
It's been one of those weeks for you.
Like, my wife decided suddenly to go back to her rewatch of Franklin and Bash with Mark Paul Gosselaar. It's not even a rewatch. It's not a rewatch. She's never seen it before. But I walk in and there's like Heather Locklear who was on the spinoff Melrose Place. And I'm like, just everything is 90210 right now.
Yeah.
David Pridgeon over on, I believe it was Facebook, in our Facebook group, says, in light of all this new information today, do you still see a pathway for Henry Cavill to come back? Maybe Elseworlds. I know. I need to let it go, but I don't want to.
Couldn't phrase it better myself.
Look, yes.
Of course I don't want to let it go, and I want to see him as soon as possible, if at all possible.
Yes, David, you need to let it go. Number 2, you need to look forward to it. and hope that it happens one day.
Yeah.
As a huge Michael Keaton fan, I never thought I'd see him again, and we're about to see him again. None of these people are ever gone for good. I assume like there's always a possibility, as James Gunn said earlier in this episode, as I brought up, there are always possibilities.
I'll put it this way.
And by the way, I do want to pull James Gunn aside. Dude, did you quote Spock on purpose?
I'll put it this way: in the comics world, no one in comics ever really dies.
Yeah,
actors or characters.
Yeah,
like they even left it open in some of their wording. Yeah, it's possible. It is definitely not going to happen in the next few years.
And they love Game of Thrones so much, I wouldn't even put it past them for Henry Cavill to wind up showing up and you know, having sex with the new Superman in the ass or something, and then suddenly he's a prince. And, you know, whatever. Like, that's what they like. They like the Game of Thrones. And I guess that would be a certain sort of incest, wouldn't it?
I mean, Matt Smith's in there now. We could have some fun with the universes. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, as far as Henry Cavill, though...
Now I've just got Henry Cavill in my mind, sodomizing some poor younger Superman.
Just Henry Cavill's dick living rent-free in Dave's mind.
Okay, to be fair.
I'm sure it's pretty. Don't worry.
No, to be fair, I think Henry Cavill's dick is living rent-free in many of people's minds.
In a lot of people's minds. It's fine.
I'm not even gay. I'm a straight man, but I'm still like, well, you know...
I like to phrase it as, I'd watch the sex tape.
And also, like, if you could imagine that porn and then, like, put the theme music, boom, boom, it works.
It would boom, boom. Yeah.
Boom, boom.
You would have to...
It's inspirational.
Yeah.
Boom, boom. They will stumble. They will fall. Boom, boom.
See, that gets weird.
They will stumble. They will fall. You will take advantage of that.
No, that sounds like they dropped the soap.
I know. Yes, I know. I know.
Don't do that.
I know.
It's not the way.
And then the other Henry Cavill with the mustache shows up. And I don't know.
It says what?
I don't know.
This is the way.
He says, boom, boom.
This is the way we used to do things. I don't know what he'd say.
I don't know. I'm tired. I don't know.
I think he said something like that in the movie.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since 2017.
Well, the one with the suit with the super. The Cavill with the mustache, he doesn't even say anything. He just cocks his arms like he does in Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
And
except
there's a cock in each hand when he does it.
Yeah. It's just getting very... It's getting very like some bad scenes from Pulp Fiction.
Yeah. Or some great scenes from Pulp Fiction.
No, some bad ones.
There are no bad scenes in Pulp Fiction.
That's an argument for another day.
Pulp Fiction is a wonderful movie and one of the best things that's ever happened in the history of the world.
I will fight you all day, frame for frame. That should be a Patreon episode, is me arguing.
You have to understand that most of the world agrees with me on this one.
Yeah, and I'll fight.
You are dying on a hill.
No, I'm not.
And you are not even on the hill. You're underneath it.
I'll fight it.
Anyway, Stuart Little says, did we even answer David?
Not completely. Okay. All right, so David Pridgeon. There's not this one. Fuck that one. David Pridgeon. My point was, I do think you need to let it go for now, of course. But yeah, I think there are avenues left open to actually get back to Cavill if we want to.
Yeah.
Time will tell, man. I don't know.
They did Crisis on Infinite Earths on the CW, and we saw a character, the character who played Helena Wayne from Birds of Prey, a short-lived, 1 season long, canceled AF because nobody gave two shits.
Yeah.
We got to see her again. There's got to be, a path back to Cavill.
I don't think...
Might be 20 years.
If it happens again, and I do think it will as well, if and when it happens again, it will not be what you want it to be right now.
No, it won't be. It won't
and
be.
It may not be later what we hope it would be. It could be a frivolous little scene like that later. It could be just a cameo. I don't know.
Could be.
I think it will recur, but I don't know how, when, or where.
Well, he says right. Well, Gunn said not right now, but he also he initially said that Cavill wasn't involved on Twitter, like a month or so ago, he said that Cavill, that they had had a conversation about some exciting things. I don't think that he's like being like, you're never going to be Superman again, but how would you like to play Jor-El?
Yeah.
I don't think that's what we're dealing with here. I think when you look at what he said there and you look at the posts featuring Kingdom Come, I think he's got an idea.
That's the best slant right now to put it out as far as what could happen. But even then, that's speculating.
But that's
lot.
that is speculating a lot, but it's also up to Cavill. If Cavill's like, no, I don't want to be Kingdom Come Superman. I want to be my Superman. I want to do the things I want to do.
I don't think he would, though.
If he's doing that and he's like, my time has passed, like he did, because like they had very contradictory statements. Gunn seemed to leave the door open and say, we've had some exciting possibilities here. We got some exciting things that we were talking about. Cavill seemed very much more finalistic.
Even he said, like, I'm not here right now.
Yeah.
But he also, and that was why it seemed finalistic to me, is because he said something along the lines of, like, I've held out hope for a long time. But, yeah. But it's like, I've held out hope for a long time, but, like, I'm going to close the door. Mm-hmm. And we said that in reference to, like, an interview 6 weeks before where he was told to open the fucking door again. Mm-hmm. And he said, like, I've always held out hope and all this kind of stuff. Like, he referenced a lot of things. Mm-hmm. But he was basically just referencing the idea that he's always hoped he'd get back to that. And right now, this is actually done. Like, finally and really done.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to hold up the Superman characters in TikTok videos anymore.
Yeah.
Some shit. Like, made me wonder how I felt about his dog.
What?
His dog's named Cal. Like, I wonder if he looked at him disappointed. Like, he failed me. Like, I doubt it.
Why would his dog have failed him?
You were a symbol of hope. You were a symbol of hope and you failed me.
You
mongrel.
You son of a bitch, literally.
Or did he look more realistically as like, no, we had good times.
Right.
I did this with hope. Like,
and now I must put you to sleep because I'm not Superman anymore.
Of course, I assume the dog's dead.
Yeah, no.
I assume the dog's dead.
No.
Yeah.
Cavill wouldn't do that.
Wouldn't he?
I don't know.
Wouldn't The Witcher do that?
I feel like there's like about 25%.
Yeah, of course he did.
25% of Twitter is out there telling me like, he dates young women. He's a terrible piece of shit. And I'm like, oh, really?
I have no idea who he dates. I don't pay attention.
I don't know. Like, do you know he's 45? And I'm like, I have no idea how old Henry Cavill
I
is.
think he's like a couple years older than me.
Yeah, I have no idea. But apparently, on Twitter, they're very judgmental about what two consenting adults do.
Who'd have fucking thought?
Who would have thought?
Yeah. It's almost as though we shouldn't pay attention to that side of Twitter.
Yeah, almost. But Zach Braff and Florence Pugh know that we do.
Yeah.
Stuart Little.
Goddamn you, Internet. You give and you take so much.
You give and you take. Stuart Little on Facebook says, with Gunn's Superman movie being a younger depiction, how would you feel if Lois isn't even present, though teased, and there was a focus on his romance with Lana Lang instead? To elaborate on it further, I was thinking they would be established as having been together since high school and she knows a secret, but they're kind of in a long distance thing with him working at the Daily Planet now and the Superman activities taking more time away from them being together, so it's about them naturally coming to the end of things. I hate it, Stu. I hate it so much. It feels like some more Smallville shit. Just give me the thing where they're together. He's with Lois. She knows he's Superman. I don't want to see another thing where they've got to like work through some bullshit relationships to get to the person that we know that they're not even going to be with in the first place. I want Superman and Lois. I don't want Lana Lang. If you're going to do Lana Lang, why don't you do a Spider-Man thing where there is no Lois Lane and we just do Lana?
Yeah, Stu, sorry, I agree. Not that that's not a good outright, but I just...
It'd be a fine thing if you were doing a CW series.
I can't do it again. That's my only objection. I can't do it again. I did this for 10 seasons.
But you know I love you, Stu. You're a sexy beast.
Yeah.
Eli Hernandez. says, this is on Patreon, by the way, I'm excited for all of these new movies and shows, but I was kind of hoping they'd give us another chance at a Batgirl movie. Other than that, I liked what I heard. Batgirl will happen eventually on its own time.
Some of that family stuff that was mentioned is going to involve a Batgirl, I feel like.
Probably.
Or it left the door...
Eventually.
Yeah. Well, not left the door open. It was inclusive in the treatment. Like,
yeah.
A lot of the stuff that's moving forward could absolutely have a Batgirl in it.
Mm-hmm.
Not that one.
I hope
just
it
wish
does.
we had like a,
and for what it's worth, I hope it's Leslie Grace. I hope they find her way. I mean, if she's still young enough to play the role.
That would be fun if all they did was just like leave in the really good scenes from that movie.
Mm-hmm.
They won't.
Yeah.
They will bury that under things that are buried.
Yeah.
Like it.
In 25 years, there'll be like a release the Schumacher cut / release the Batgirl movie trailer.
It's going to be bad. Like there's somewhere in LA, Rodney Dangerfield is buried, and his tombstone apparently reads, because he was buried in a swanky neighborhood, so to speak. It reads, "There goes the neighborhood." They're going to bury him. They're going to bury that film under that, roughly.
Yeah.
Just and here's the fun part: just because this is day and age, I'm just going to put a USB stick under there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. I don't know that that's ever going to actually service itself again. But yes, I would be entirely happy for us to see her again, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be fine if they cast somebody else.
Yeah.
I'll be fine if they cast her and say, hey, I'm really sorry about what happened. I know from your angle, just doing the acting, looked like a pretty good movie. Look, I've been on movie sets. It is impossible. Everything looks like it's shit. Nothing looks like it's going to be a movie. But then it turns out to be a movie.
I mean...
And even a shitty movie. It looks shittier than that when you're there. There's no way to tell. Like, you can seriously... I'm in a shitty movie called Coffee Shop. Seriously, I'm there. It looked shitty while I was there. Like, super shitty. Like, the shittiest. And then the movie is shitty. But it's not as shitty as what I saw while I was there. Like, there's just no way to tell.
But the upgrades mattered.
There's no way to tell.
Yeah.
So, hopefully Leslie Grace is like, oh, I get it. Chris Baga says, first I want to say I'm quite excited about what he put out there. The Authority, Swamp Thing, Supergirl, Batman, Brave and the Bold, and Lanterns are all my most anticipated from the announced slate. The ride to get to each one of these will be a lot of fun. I love how Gunn said that the tone will be different and set by the creatives for each project and therefore different. But connectivity will be present in all the projects in the DCU. It's hard to say connectivity.
It stumbles, yeah.
Chris says, here are a few questions and comments. 1, when Gunn says Flash resets the DCU with Blue Beetle and Aquaman being the start of Chapter 1, in addition to the Waller series taking place between Peacemaker 1 and 2, it can come off to some that the past is trying to be fit into the new universe. There does not seem to be a clear divide between the DCEU and the DCU. Now we may get some further explanations on how they fit into the new DCU once we get to SDCC and when those projects have come out. I am down to see everything they showed off, but I was left scratching my head a little with some of this. I was not expecting all the answers right now, but some of the vagueness was a little surprising. I am down for a soft reboot, but I just need a few dots connected. What do you both think? I think we are meant to scratch our heads for a time.
Oh, yeah. There's no choice.
I mean, Safran saying Jason won't play more than one character. They might do Lobo, but they'll see how that goes after Aquaman 2. But also Jason has always said that Aquaman was supposed to be a trilogy in his mind. Mm-hmm. Clearly, Safran was talking about something that Momoa had said to him. So, I think there's a possibility. DC is constantly rebooting everything. So I think even after The Flash, they could reboot slightly again. Things could change slightly again, and they still be in a DC universe. I don't really know.
They'll have to.
They always have to.
They'll have to. Like, even when, back in the days of like Dan DiDio drawing up a whiteboard worth of stuff to pull off at that convention they have every year about like, here's what we're doing.
You talking about 5G?
Yeah.
All that shit that never happened
before, frankly. Like,
yeah, that was an interesting idea that never happened.
Like, but they've done.
I'm not sure they heard you go, but yeah.
That was a
weird idea that I'm like, I wish I could traverse realities so I could see the comics that happen from that.
Yeah.
And then, but like, not actually exist in the reality that happened at. Like, I want to be able to see what, like, oh God, that was a bad idea.
Well, but even then, like, go back 10 years and like mid 2000s or 10s or whatever, there were still like redesigns that were like, oh, we're going to do this, and this is going to be this wave, and this is going to be the straight line, and this is going to be kind of a sine cosine pattern almost kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, man, it all fucking falls to shit if it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like, that's the bottom line. Like,
to me, the best iteration of the DC universe, comic book wise, is still Final Front. DC's.
I was with you in Final Frontier.
Whatever it's called, New Frontier.
Yeah.
The way Darwin Cook laid it out with Justice Society, then Justice League, like he made it all fit, made it all work. There's no reason to go beyond that. Like, it ain't that hard. Just do that shit.
That was one of the reasons I was such a big fan of the Scott Snyder version of DC right now, or a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Is, like, he pulled so many threads together that, like, hell, even Jeff Johns can suck a tailpipe. Like, he fucking pulled things together that should never have been made. And still managed to add things to the universe that, like, at some point he had Aquaman put it to the rest of the Justice League as they won, but still failed. Mm-hmm. When they realized they had actually probably failed, he said that, like, we were in a, how do you put it? We were in a goldfish bowl and we just, and it just cracked or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, just opening up the idea, like, no. And by the way, what they were talking about in, you know, DC Universe is like, we just fucked up the source wall. Mm-hmm. Like, we fucked up the source wall. Mm-hmm. This is going to be a problem. Like, all that continuity being brought together is not something that's problematic or impossible. Mm-hmm. It just matters how you do it. Like, they can do this that well if they have time and some breadth.
Batman v Superman: The Ultimate Edition is my favorite comic book movie of all time. That is not Road to Perdition. Road to Perdition is so damn good. It's solid. It's so damn good.
It's one of those movies where I was like 14. I watched that with my dad and was like, "We're watching this. We're watching this. Okay,
cool. Yeah, fantastic.
It was a good movie.
But Batman v Superman is my favorite. All right, I will say this though: Darwin Cook reamed Zack Snyder's asshole on the Batman v Superman front. Like, what happened in New Frontier? Darwin Cook ruled it. Like, that was how that should have gone down. Like,
one of my favorite parts of New Frontier is basically when Superman's like, "I got this. I ain't got this." Like,
yeah.
It very much feels like that's how the scene goes. Like, you remember kind of disappearing into the distance a little bit? Like,
I'm just saying.
And there's like Batman, like, yeah, I thought that might happen.
Dude, Darwin Cook's New Frontier is one of the best things
that DC iconic.
has
period.
ever done.
Yeah.
Bar none. Period. Stomp a boot into your ass.
Full stop, all that.
Nobody is going to top it, and the best they can do is copy it frame for frame.
Yeah.
Anyway, who was talking to us?
Dear God, I don't know.
Chris Bogga.
I know it was Bogga.
From from one of our patrons, world's finest true believers, fantastic guy. Number 2, James Gunn said to comicbook.com, we've talked to Gal. We're up for, she's up for doing stuff. We're not sure what we're going to do with that. All I can tell you really right now is Henry and Ben are not a part of this universe. Do you think Gunn really means the door is open for a return of any of the DCEU Trinity, or is he just being nice to appease some of the fan base?
I think no question. No.
I think he doesn't know whether or not Gal's up for doing stuff. I don't think doing stuff means playing Wonder Woman necessarily. It could mean doing something else, like Kingdom Come, maybe. I don't know.
I mean,
I don't think he was insinuating the doors open for any of them to return necessarily. Nor do I think he was being nice to appease some of the fan base. I don't think either of those things are true. I think he doesn't know. Like, he's got things that he thinks this might be cool. Maybe we can do this. And if they don't want to do that, we'll do something else.
I mean, I would hope he'll incorporate in whatever might work and, people availability kind of bullshit. But if he sees it can work and he can make some of these people work with the program as it stands, that's one thing. But on its face right now, nah, she's out.
I don't think she's coming back, but I think Gunn is basically being diplomatic here.
Yeah.
I don't think he's being nice, but I think he's being diplomatic. He's like, she's up for doing stuff, whatever the hell that means. We don't know what that means. And he says, we're not sure what we're going to do with that.
Yeah,
I think he's just being honestly, at this point.
Yeah, in the same sense that he was honest about Cavill not being fired, but just not hired. Like, I think that conversation they had, it sounded honest in a way. Like, I don't think that was dishonest. I guess, like, they had a conversation a few months ago, and 6 weeks before that or whatever it was a different conversation, and things changed. It feels like that's actually truly how things went. Like, oh no, I think we're really going to do this, and then 6 weeks later, no, I really don't think we are, kind of thing. Like, that's the hardest turn. Past that, frankly, fuck it. Are we kidding? The rest of this seems almost cut and dry. Like,
yeah, and
Affleck's been out for a long time.
Well,
and
Affleck has been back and forth. Like, Affleck came back for The Flash and said, "This is what I always wanted to do."
Oh, I know, but like he didn't even say this is all I always wanted to do. He came back and basically said, like, this is the best it's been.
Yeah,
like that could be interpreted as like, well, it was an abusive ex, but we had a good day.
Right.
Like
But was he talking about Joss? I doubt he was talking about Zach.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
He was talking about Joss.
Yeah. As far as I understand, all of them have a good relationship with Joss. Or not Joss.
Yeah, everybody loves Zach.
Yeah, everybody loves Zach. But I don't know, man. I don't see any avenue for Gal to be back right now either. I just don't.
You don't?
No. I think that's out too. I mean, we know Cavill
That'd be
is...
a shame.
Affleck's awesome. Included in certain...
I hated Wonder Woman 1984, but none of my problems were her.
No, I get it. She's a wonderful, like, example of fucking Wonder Woman. She is perfect actress for that role. Like, kills it. I would love to see everything, including her, in that role. But I would also have loved to see that with Affleck and Cavill. Like, I just don't think we're going to get it. I just really don't at this point.
I don't either, and I'm okay with moving on. Like, I've come to that point. I don't think
I have a choice other than to be okay with just trying the next thing.
Well, and maybe that's like, maybe I've come to that prematurely for some people. Like, I'm not a quote-unquote real one, as they say on Twitter. But also, I didn't just start liking DC when Zack Snyder was doing it. I've been a DC fan since 1989. So, fuck all y'all couches.
I mean...
I'm used to all the stuff being kind of fluid, and I'm down for more. Like, I'm down to see what they do next. Like,
I mean, yes. Like, in our lifetime...
Yeah.
They fucking killed him. Like, way before he did that. They fucking killed Superman.
Yeah.
And they meant it. It was on news stations. It was on local news.
Right.
Like,
and I remember that. And even then,
nah,
like,
quite.
Yeah, like I was a kid. I was like, what was it, 93? And I was sitting there, like, and my grandpa was like, oh, they said here they killed Superman. I'm like, my grandpa did not talk like Norm Macdonald, by the way. He was some country accent, but I can't somehow do. But I was like, he'll be back. And he was like, well, it says they killed him. I'm like, he's a cash cow. He'll be back.
He'll be back.
And
Don't you worry.
He just kind of chuckled. And I was like, I mean, I'm like 7 years old, man. What do you want? Like, I was more like 10, but I was like, come on, man. They're not going to kill Superman forever.
Don't worry.
I mean, it was a cool story, and I loved Reign of the Supermen, and I was like, oh, man, I hope they keep these characters in. I remember telling Matt from Star Trek UCast, because he was super into the death of Superman, and I was like, and I was super into Nightfall. Because he was Superman, I was Batman. That's how we were. That's how we rolled. But we were both like keeping up with it through each other. And I was like, I guarantee you, my only real concern is I hope they keep Superboy and Steel when Superman comes back.
Not bad wishes.
And they did for the most part.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Eradicator didn't show up anymore.
He
but
does occasionally.
He does occasionally.
But no.
But he's always kind of weird.
Those were the two most salvageable characters. And you're not wrong about that.
Yeah. So, I mean...
I do like both those characters.
And I remember telling him, I was like...
Even though...
Just like I hope that Asbats...
image, Superboy keeps fucking getting killed.
Yeah.
But that's a whole different problem.
Just remember, I just like I remember telling him, I like Azrael as his own character, but I don't want him to be Batman. Mm-hmm. I hope he sticks around. And he did, kind of.
He did.
From time to time, he sticks around. He goes away for a while.
Oh, last time I saw that guy, he was fighting New Gods.
Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he?
Give it a shot.
I mean, if you're in a situation where you're like, who the hell do you think you are? I worship Saint Dumas.
He did okay. Well, it was a weird situation where he was like given a sort of like voice of God ability. But
I mean, isn't that what he always does?
Yeah.
He's always got Saint Dumas in his head telling him to do shit.
It was Odyssey, I think was the...
Yeah. Well, was it?
Series.
Odyssey?
I want to say it was Odyssey.
Well,
like, a couple years ago.
With Mike Mignola in drawing it?
I don't know.
Talking about like for real Odyssey, like from the 90s?
No, a couple years ago.
I don't know that.
I think it was Justice League Odyssey.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's some book that Mike Mignola of like Hellboy wrote.
Jessica Cruz was the one that stuck out the most, I want to say. Because I want to say she's the one who, like, Darkseid stepped on her actual power ring. Okay. And she just incorporated both powers for a second. I think. It's been a couple years.
Yeah, dude, I was just telling Scott McClellan of DC Squadcast. I was just over at his house hanging out with him. And I was like, between me and Jason, we make up one actual DC fan. Like...
we have stuff, like, some stuff covered.
Like, I know pretty much most of the main things, to about 2008. Jason picked up in 2011 with New 52.
I think we roughly have a vague Wikipedia page that's not right.
Yeah. Like,
it requires a lot of editors.
We might have a weird thing about, Savitar or something, or Max Mercury or something. We might get confused about that from time to time. But for the most part, Jason and I together make up one actual DC fan.
We can get close to the actual thing.
Because I love DC. I followed it from, age 6 to like 2008. You picked it up. And I haven't kept up nearly as much as I should have, but I just didn't.
I mean, I haven't either, as far as that last year or so.
I have a weird thing where, like, I'll see, like, the New 52 stuff, and I'm like, that's not real.
Well, I mean, most of the stuff I've got is definitely, like, post
Rebirth. You're like New 52 and Rebirth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff I have is past that era. And even that, I'm months behind right now. I've got, like, a couple boxes downstairs that I've got to choose.
I think I cut out right before Final Crisis really hit. And then I like Wikipedia'd it because I was like, I just can't. I'm too poor. I can't afford all the tie-ins. I know Final Crisis is coming and I can't do it. I want to do it, but I can't.
What is this? 52 that I'm supposed to do before that? God damn it.
I'm just like reading the Wikipedia going like, oh, that is a pretty good story. Cool. Yeah. Moving on.
Mr. Mind turns into what? God damn it. The fuck am I supposed to do with this?
That's a good pull. Chris Baga continues because, my God, we are getting off topic.
Sorry.
Number 3, do you think when we get to SDCC, Gunn reveals the full Chapter 1 slate with some sort of Justice League movie being revealed? No, I don't. I actually don't.
Nope, not till Chapter 2.
I don't. Like,
I say Chapter 2 at best.
I think, I don't know about Chapter 2, but I think that, like...
No, I say at best.
No, I don't think at best either. Like, I think James Gunn, we need to get through a few of these projects because I think the latter half of Chapter 1, just knowing what's coming, is going to spoil the outcome of the first 10 projects. Mm-hmm. So I think we've got to get through a few of these projects before they start announcing anything else.
Oh, no. He also, it's a 10-year slate he just talked about, in theory, but he's got 4 years on contract.
Yeah.
So, like, in the 4th year, if he has to pull a Hail Mary of some kind, or not just a Hail Mary if it's, like, trying to say what he's going for, if it's more that, like, he's trying to, like, really hoist the sail and, you know.
I thought you were going to say hoist the petard.
I may be misusing the sailing term.
He's hoisted on his own petard.
Like, if he's really trying to fucking, like, go full throttle, he might just be like, all right. Mm-hmm. I know you didn't know who, like, a couple of these movies were, but wait, here's what's coming.
Well, what I like is that, like, the show, the only thing we didn't really know was Waller. I mean, not Waller, Creature Commandos.
Yeah.
Waller, we have pre-established continuity.
There you go.
We have a pre-established character, actor, etc. I love that we, like, yes, we know who Superman is. We don't know who's playing him, but he gave us All-Star Superman picture, which makes me feel good inside. But, like, as far as it goes, it's just like, okay, so you've got a number of things like Creature Commandos, Booster Gold, Swamp Thing, things that people don't give a shit about. Like, the general audience doesn't have all these preconceived notions of characters or actors associated, previous filmmakers making this thing like, oh my God, like this, it's kind of doing Marvel.
There you go. So that's the point, is like, that's kind of why they made it in some, not why they made it by any stretch, because the formula can't be like, let's use unknown directors and unknown characters and we'll just make it.
Yeah.
That's not it. It's just that they started with a low bar with expectations that were not suffocating.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to start with Superman because everyone expects so fucking much. It all means so much to so many people.
Yeah.
Like, I'm one of probably 3 billion people on the fucking planet Earth that might have a Superman tattoo.
Yeah.
Like, it is ubiquitous.
I always forget you have that tattoo.
Yeah. Well, like,
it's weird that you have a tattoo.
It is also due to a personal matter, but still, like.
But you're such a straight-laced white guy.
Yeah, it would never have been something that was a normal thing for me. But in the circumstances, it made sense.
For someone who bucked your very conventional, like, white Christian family, you are pretty, like, straight-laced.
Yes. I didn't go that far, but in certain ways, hopefully far enough.
Uh-huh.
Like, it's such a symbol, though. Like, and I get it, but I would never have been like, oh, I have to have that on my body. It never was an instinct.
Yeah.
But that's my point, is like, to go into a character that means that much to so many people. Mm-hmm. Like, the example I've given when we've talked before on the show is if you just drop me in an unknown land, and I don't mean like I knew the language of the people, I mean you doped me. I'm talking roofies. And put me on a plane for 16 hours and just dropped me somewhere. I don't know the language, I don't know the people. I could probably tell from, like, you know, some landscape maybe, and, you know, like who I'm talking to, like maybe I'm in this area, some climate or whatever. Like, I would be completely out of sorts anywhere. But, like, if the guy who walked up to me and said, like, do you need help, had a Superman shirt on, I think I'm in good hands. Like, I'm immediately like, this is my guy.
I know you don't like Seinfeld. But does it disturb you that Seinfeld has the same iconography?
Not at all. Because, like, I know Jerry's a fucking Superman fan.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. Like, I've heard him talk about it's like, no, there's like some guy in Guam or something, like sitting in a hut watching Seinfeld with like a long cable.
Yeah.
Like he's stretched across the.
But if I walked into an unknown universe, like if it was on another planet and they were watching old George Reeve, episodes or something, I'd be like, no, we have something to talk about. I got this.
Yeah, man.
Like there's something to. There's companionship.
And God, I wish McFarlane would make George Reeves Superman figures. To go, I mean, look at my, like, I've got McFarlane retro Batman 66 figures that fit in with my Mattel Batman 66 figures. I've got, like, behind you, there's like a Linda Carter Mattel 6-inch Wonder Woman figure. How fantastic would it be if I had George freaking Reeves 66 or not 66, what is it, 56?
Yeah.
Figures, 6-inch figures to go along.
Oh, it's black and white shit. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I mean, well, he was also in color though, so
was he in the last part?
They could do color. They could do color.
Fucked up like Andy Griffith. Gotcha.
Yeah, but you know.
And I Love Lucy. It disoriented people.
Chris says, we're never getting through this. Chris Balga says, I love the idea of the Elseworlds line of projects finally being a thing, as well as Gunn saying the bar is going to be very high for projects to be outside the DCU, the Elseworlds projects, but every now and then there will be something that lives up to that. Sounds like it will be quality over quantity, which I highly approve of. If you had one Elseworlds story you want Gunn and Safran to greenlight, what would it be? Speeding bullets.
Dark Knight's metal.
Metal? Mm-hmm. I mean, they should just adapt that for the actual DC universe, for God's sake.
Yeah. The Scott Snyder version of that.
Yeah, but Elseworlds.
No, I don't think it would exist there. I think it would be too much.
Yeah. I mean,
I think it has to be somewhere else. And the fun of the story is, like, it can't stay somewhere else. That's the whole point of that story, is that it can't be somewhere else.
Yeah.
So to me, that would be the tedium. Yeah, is like it.
But what should be Elseworlds?
It should be Elseworlds, but like that's the tease.
Yeah. Okay.
It's an Elseworld that made its way across.
Gotcha. Well, I'm not gonna be weird and Riddlery like Jason is. I say speeding bullets. Damn it, speeding bullets. I love speeding bullets. I am also a big fan of Red Sun, as I've said.
Yeah, huge fan
many a time I've said that. I also like that one where I don't even remember what it's called. That's the one where
we talked to him about that one.
Dude, I like Thrill Killer. I like the one where Batman is Green Lantern.
Yep.
Like there are lots of good Elseworlds stories.
Genuinely.
Oh my God, Justice League the Nail.
Oh, fuck me. Yeah, that'd be good.
Justice League the Nail.
And dark as shit.
For want of a nail, the kingdom was lost, man. Do you guys know that? Like, in the nail...
for one of a nail, the horse was lost. For one of a horse, the knight was lost. For one of a knight, the battle was lost. For one of a battle, the war was lost, I think.
Yeah. And then it ends with... For it was a kingdom that was lost, all for the one of a nail.
Ah, yes.
Now... The reason it's called the nail is because in this particular story, Jonathan and Martha Kent get a nail in their
because
tire.
That's the nail that Joker used to strip off the.
No. Jonathan and Martha Kent they run over a nail and their tire goes flat, so they never find Clark, and Clark is found by a bunch of Amish people. So because the Kents never raised Superman, there's never a Superman. So we get to see the world and the Justice League and the DC Universe as it is without a Superman. Like, the man who would be Superman is some dude, like, chilling out on an Amish farm.
Yeah.
It is a fantastic story, especially the first volume. Like, the first mini-series is fantastic. The second one's okay. But
I mean, short of that, even, like, Dark Knights 3, The Master Race had a lot of good storytelling in it.
Yeah, I mean, like,
it's basically a Krypton war, though.
I would say Dark Knight Returns, but I don't want to see that anymore because it's already been fantastically done.
No, I mean, skip that part.
In animation.
Go straight to the Master Race thing.
Yeah, just Master Race?
Yeah. Like, it has a Krypton war in it that could be fun to play with.
I mean, Master Race was better than it's funny, me and Scott were talking about this too. Master Race is a couple of upticks above Dark Knight Strikes Back.
Yes. Yeah, that one.
Or several upticks, but still not like on par with Dark Knight Returns to me.
Yes, I agree.
I still haven't read Golden Child. I haven't gotten to that one.
The same. A lot of really good stuff in there.
Great ideas executed.
No, not even that. Like, great ideas executed well, but not a full story.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't have enough flesh to it to me.
Just doesn't have enough flesh. That sounds right.
Like, it with more time, I think it could have been a lot of fun. It was fun as it is, though.
Well, I think Frank Miller goes into these thinking, I don't have that much time.
Possible.
I mean, I don't know, if I was Frank Miller, right now, I don't think I have much time. So I'm like, I don't want to give too much time to
I
this.
genuinely assume that tomorrow when I wake up at this point, I'll be dead.
Yeah, I'm going to wake up dead, as they say. All right, sorry, Chris. We keep getting sidetracked. Number 5, Chris says, what are your thoughts on the writers they assembled to help them flesh out the slate? The Martian scribe Drew Goddard, the Flash writer Christina Hodson, Moon Knight head writer Jeremy Slater, Watchmen writer Crystal Henry, and Tom King. I really like the diverse backgrounds of the pool, and having Tom King in there speaking from a comic book writing side gives me hope that this may lead to more comic creators being considered to be part of building the DCU. P.S. I would love to have both of you back on World's Finest True Believers soon. Please let me know if either of you are down to come back on and what books you want to look at. Chris, I am over the moon. I love all of these people. I love Drew Goddard. I've been a fan of Drew Goddard for years.
Yep. Not a name I didn't recognize at all.
Christina Hodson, have complete faith in.
100%.
I never thought Batgirl's cancellation was an issue with her. Moon Knight, loved it. Watchmen, haven't seen it, but I trust this man next to me.
It slaps the fuck.
I trust this man. And Tom King, sold.
We know that's a good point.
You know, I remember years ago you got mad at me because I didn't care for like one scene in his Batman run because I was like, man, I feel like everybody. Look, sincerely, I was like, everybody that takes on Batman thinks they got to do like the quintessential Joker story.
Yeah.
Let me like really tackle their real relationship or whatever. Mr. Miracle sold me. Mr. Miracle sold me.
No, I think I remember the scene though. As I was.
Because he was like praying with Batman or whatever.
No, it was Joker and Catwoman.
No. It was Batman and or maybe it was Catwoman. I don't know.
I think it was Joker and Catwoman.
I thought it was Batman and Joker like praying in a chapel or something.
No, they were in a chapel. Like they were in a church, but it was Joker and Catwoman and they both like nearly killed each other and they were just kind of like talking.
Okay.
Like they were both about to fucking die kind of thing. Like bleeding out, not quite sure how they were getting off the mat kind of thing, and just talking.
At the time, I felt like it was just so close to what was it called? Was it Endgame? Was that what they were called?
Well, yeah, Endgame was a little bit before where they did.
Like, where it was like Batman and Joker fighting, and like they nearly killed each other, and both had amnesia and shit. Like
they basically, I mean, it was the Joker with his face off version. In
it was like
that was Snyder though, but like
Death of the Family.
Yeah, Death of the Family, and they. Well, Death of the Family was right before Endgame. Endgame was where they actually like fell into the little pit and that was
all that shit's brought behind you.
Yeah, but that was like Gordon.
On my shelf.
It literally is. That was where like Gordon became Batman for a second. And Bruce fucked off for a second. And honestly, I'm not entirely sure how Joker got his face back.
I don't know. I'm just tired.
Hey, if anyone's still listening and wants to explain to me how Joker got his face back, I actually would like to see that connection. I thought there was
a Lazarus pit involved or something. I don't know.
I think they were close to water in that little shot I remember. But I do not remember how that worked out. It probably was Lazarus pit or some shit.
However, I think I was just really bummed out by the idea that, like, God, everybody's got to keep doing this, like, let's redefine Batman and Joker's relationship and really get it.
Well, what I think you took to with Tom King was, like, it's not just, we're going to redefine or something. Like, when he started taking on characters like Mr. Miracle and, the Strange Adventures thing or even...
I liked the character of Gotham Girl and all that shit. That was some interesting stuff.
Cool.
But,
and then even then, like, his current run is Human Target. Like,
yes, I'm aware of that.
I've only read the first issue of that because I'm way behind, but it was fucking great.
I've seen several things that made me want to read that. But now I'm in a place where it's Tom King and I just want to read it. Like,
yeah. I'm just going to buy that
Mr.
TPB
Miracle,
period.
Strange Adventures, Human Target, Supergirl. Yes.
Just sign me up. When you're done putting them out, just wait about 6 months and send me the fucking issue. I got it.
Just put a needle into my brain and inject those issues right in. I want it. I'm begging for it. I weep with desire for it. I wake up thinking about it.
Oh, I forgot about Rorschach, for God's sake.
Was that a thing too?
I think that was Tom King too.
I don't even remember that, but I believe you. If that was a thing, let me know. I'm not going to look it up because I don't need another thing to need.
Definitely.
I don't need another thing to need.
I have to know now.
I think it was, though.
Pretty sure it was. I'm just really fucking tired.
That sounds right. I sincerely have like 11
I'm actually deeply
volumes.
surprised, and I must have I swiped Rorschach. I don't know how my phone knew that was happening.
It was listening to you.
Yep. Rorschach, Tim King. Okay, yeah. That was true.
Yep, I'm going to do that then.
Just a
son of a bitch. But yeah, man, I'll be on World's Finest True Believers again. I enjoyed that.
100%. Together, apart, whatever. We're there.
And you can talk about whatever. I think I told Chris a long time ago I wanted to do Craig Thompson's Blankets, but it's like 1,000 pages. It's such a good graphic novel about this kid like basically learning to denounce Christianity.
Nice.
He like struggles with it as a teenager throughout the entire thing.
And you want to go on a show called True Believers with that shit.
Flashes back to like being molested, and stuff.
Yeah.
And like it's basically like a manual of how to lose your faith.
Nice.
But it's so good.
Gotcha.
It's depressing, but it's a really good story. Craig Thompson's one of the, as the Twitter people call him, real ones.
Yeah, that's fine. Send me a link so I can buy a copy of my childhood.
Yeah, dude. Dude, it's so good. Blankets is so good.
I believe it.
But it's also so thick that I've like abstained from. Like the last time we were on there, we were like, I don't know, we'll talk about something else because that one's big and I don't want to reread it right now.
That's a lot.
There's a lot to reread. Like, Chris, do you realize right now I've got to read Volume 2 of The Sandman so I can talk about it with Scott on Patreon? Do you realize that, Chris? I don't think you realize that, Chris. Things are happening here.
I don't have the time to read the back of a shampoo bottle, even though I use Old Spice, and they're pretty funny. Let's get a bit tight on that.
Chris, I'm so tired I ejaculate dust, okay? So,
Yeah.
You have to understand. That's all I've got. If you guys have feedback for us, if you want to be involved in this shenanery, we are on dconscreen.com. You can talk to us at dconscreen@gmail.com. We're on Twitter and Instagram at dconscreen. We've got a Facebook page. We've got a Facebook group that we've been semi-active on. That is actually a step up from our previously not active on. We've been doing better, or I've been doing better. I don't think Jason's not on Facebook.
No.
I've been doing better. I'll have you know, DC On Screen is the top contributor on the DC On Screen group because I reply to all the people.
Nice.
Yeah.
That seems like
and I post all of the content.
Hard to achieve, and yet...
And I am all of the comments. I'm kidding. Some of these people were comments from
respectable metrics, sir.
I have a badge.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a worthless NFT that Facebook gives out.
You should sell yourself your own version of our logo.
I would.
As a reward.
I would, but I'm too poor to buy it.
Yeah.
We're done.
I mean, it's an NFT. It can be worth a penny.
Look, okay, we're done here. Here's the thing. We'd love to stick around and do more show, but from our end, before editing, we're at 4 hours and 4 minutes. And
it's almost 12:30 in the morning.
God does not give with both hands. So until next time, keep some DC on your screen.
Bye.
Are you struggling to conceive? You have options, and at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group, we'll make sure you have the guidance and support you need. PREG is known for individualized fertility care that's unique to every patient. We take the time to provide a reassuring and empowering experience because we believe that you deserve nothing less. Let us help you on your journey to parenthood. Visit us at pregonline.com to learn more. Get the guidance and support you need at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group.
Our intro music is by Jason Goss and Michael Shackelford. Michael's band, Galactic Engineers of Magnetic Sounds, or GEMS, can be found on SoundCloud and Bandcamp. Visit DCOnScreen.com to find our Patreon, merch, contact information, and every episode of the show for free, including crossovers we've done with other podcasts. DC On Screen is a maladjusted production. For more from me and Jason, including sketch comedy, vlogs, parodies, and our improvised web series Hey Guy, visit maladjusted.tv.